Before we start the show, everyone, I have a little bit of an announcement, and that is that we are going to be holding a contest to give away stuff to you, the fans. This is thanks in part to Viz Media, who is coming out with the One Piece Color Walk Compendium Volume 2, which covers the next 3 Color Walk volumes after Water 7. So if you are looking to win this and a lot of other One Piece podcast merch, you're going to want to listen to the end of the show for all of the rules for a special trivia-related contest. Now, don't worry, you won't necessarily have to know the trivia, but you are going to have a chance to quiz us on our One Piece abilities by showing your One Piece abilities off. So, listen until the end of the show. We'll be giving more information on that last segment right after the plugs. So with that, let's get into this episode. This is the One Piece Podcast, episode 588 for the week of Sunday, September 29th, 2019. My name is Zach.
And my name is Ed.
My name is Steve.
And my name is Alex.
All the hosts finally back together again after quite some time. And for quite a chapter.
We're at the Navy.
On this week's episode of the podcast, we have a very special guest. He is the translator for One Piece in both Shonen Jump and Manga Plus. He is Stephen Paul. How's it going, Stephen?
Hey, pretty good. Yeah, I translated it twice for both of those sites. Just kidding.
Wow. In Spanish, too?
Yeah, no.
We also have our resident artist. Her name is Maddie. How's it going?
Going pretty good.
Good. And last but not least, we have another Patreon supporter on this week. We have Ralph with us. How's it going, Ralph?
Oh, it's going amazingly. This is a exciting chapter.
Yeah, that is an understatement. And Ed, before we get into the chapter, we're also going to have an anime episode recap this week. Do you have that information in front of you?
No, I don't.
Cool. I think it's 904 we're up to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They almost fight Hold'em this week. Almost.
Yep, that's a pretty good description of this week's anime episode. Something almost happens.
But if you want something to happen, you might be okay with Chapter 957, Ultimate. As we said in Shonen Jump and Manga Plus, we're going to go through that. We also have some Piece Together. We are going to also, at the end of the show, be talking a little bit more about this, but I am happy to announce we are going to be doing a contest with Viz Media to give to you One Piece Color Walk Compendium Volume 2, which comes out on October 1st. We're going to give you free copies along with all sorts of other cool One Piece podcast stuff that I have. And maybe some stuff from Japan that I also have laying around that you could win. And this is going to be the gist of the contest. Each of us here have picked a number. And if you were at all familiar with the One Piece podcast trivia segment, this should strike you as familiar. We picked a number between 1 and 957. And you're going to get to ask each of us a trivia question. And if you manage to stump everyone, you have a chance to win those fabulous prizes. So we'll talk a little bit more about those rules at the end of the show, right after when we go into our trivia segment. So stay tuned for that. And we're also going to be doing some meetups for One Piece Stampede. So I want to talk a little bit about that. Let's first talk about our LA showing. Steve, where are we going to be meeting up with our wonderful fans in the city of Los Angeles?
Well, the 2 screenings that I know we'll be attending, the first being on the night of the 24th. It'll be 7 p.m. at the Burbank 16 in lovely downtown Burbank. Myself will be there along with Maddie. I think Jill's making out to that one. Dennis. Brian, too. I bet Brian hasn't bought his ticket yet, so he should. And then also we're going to be seeing the first dub screening Saturday, October 26th at 7 p.m. at Universal City Walk near Universal Studios. So, and a bunch of us are going to that one too. So check that one out too if you want to see both the movie in English and Japanese.
And in DC, Alex, where are you going to be seeing One Piece Stampede?
On Thursday the 24th, I will be seeing the subtitled version of One Piece Stampede at the Georgetown AMC at 7 p.m. And I will be seeing the dubbed version in Rockville, Maryland, the Rockville Regal at 1 o'clock p.m. on the Saturday, October 26th. And maybe other dates, but those are the two that I will be at.
And Ed, you live right outside of Chicago. Where will you be seeing One Piece Stampede, and where could people find you?
That's right. The 24th and 26th, I'll be at the South Barrington AMC, just off of Interstate 90. And you can see me there.
And I will be in Times Square. I'm going to just risk myself and go to Times Square.
Risking bed bugs.
Well, and tourists mostly. Going to the AMC Empire 25, 7 p.m. on October 24th. I may also be doing the dub showing, but I have not yet booked those tickets, so I don't want to say for sure yet. And I'll be doing that 7 p.m. showing, so that first night at the sub showing. There were also, and I almost completely forgot about this, announcements made as to the casting for this movie. And it's like the first thing with One Piece and a new cast in quite some time. Also, much more interestingly, they list Law in the credits as Trafalgar D. Water Law, which I totally have issues with. Not because it's wrong, but because it just sounds terrible.
So there actually was a recasting note from episode of East Blue that came out.
What is that?
Nezumi is now voiced by Derek Snow.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. We also the new
there was a few more recastings, but it's like nothing really to be like stop the presses.
Yeah,
it's been like 10 years since they recorded those episodes, so I wouldn't be surprised if they couldn't get everybody back.
Pirate
is Tatum still Mr. Pearl?
Oh yeah,
goddamn right he is.
I bet you he never thought he was going to come back to do Pearl. Yeah, and also the episode of Skypiea is coming out kind of soon too, right?
Yep.
Yeah. October is October or
no, November.
I don't know the date. November. Okay. But there were some cast changes. The voice actor for Marshall D. Teach passed away. So that is now going to be Chris Rager. Rager? I knew I was going to do that wrong. Like I was reading it, and Donald Moderate is going to be played by Anthony Bowling. Is that the guy's name? I know nothing about Stampede. I've actually been pretty good at staying away from information about it. Anne is going to be played by Macy Ann Johnson. And the director, Mike McFarlane, is coming back, and Clint Bickham is the script writer for this. I don't know what previous.
That's what I'm the most excited about is Clint returning as the scriptwriter.
Oh, he was
he was
Steve's our resident expert. Yeah,
he wrote the film Gold adaptation.
Oh, great. Okay,
and
that was
he was all over the One Piece documentary that was on the episode of East Blue disc as well.
Yeah, script writers are very much an unsung hero. I think that is a very difficult job because you have to be super faithful, but also adapt, things so that they're understandable. So much like Steven's work, which we try and sing him as the hero all the time. This is kind of the dub equivalent. So that's super important. So you could check that out. It's out the 24th through the 31st. I think, what is it? The 24th, 26th, and 28th are the sub showings, or 24th, 25th, 20. I don't have it in front of me, but there are 3 days for the sub showings, 2 days for the dub showings. Please check your local listings. With that, I think it's about time we talk about some bounties. This is the manga recap for chapter 957, Ultimate. You could read this chapter, and please do, legally for free worldwide the same time it's released in Japan at shonenjump.viz.com and at mangaplus.shueisha.co.jp, both in English. Manga Plus is also in Spanish. If you're not already reading there, again, the latest 3 chapters are free. I can't continue repeating this enough. Ed, what's going on in the... let's talk about the color spread first, because I don't think there's a ton going on the cover. Yeah, talk about the cover.
The, like, game show one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what is going on there?
Circle gets the square.
Yeah. It looks like... are they promoting...
wow, yeah. Okay.
Oh, wait. They're promoting the... I think that it's promoting the One
new...
Piece quiz show?
Yeah. Probably.
Oh.
That's
all.
Yeah,
Quiz show?
Why don't I...
Knowledge King.
Greg's been tweeting about it.
Oh. I didn't know about this. Have I been so out of the loop?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, Zach, you were in
Choppers.
Japan for like a week and a half, and we didn't watch any Japanese television the whole time we were there, so
to be
Oh
fair.
my God.
we wouldn't have figured it out anyway.
Yeah. So I love that Chopper's hat has a question mark in it on this cover. Not to mention
crosses
Luffy's
on the
hat
hat.
on a hat. That's a good point.
Luffy's wearing a Super Mario pipe.
Yeah.
That is what that looks like. Yeah.
Just
Frankie's
upside
hair
down.
is amazing. By the
Oh
way.
no. We're
The
talking
ponytail.
about the cover.
Oh, I don't think I have that. Funny enough.
It's on the Shonen Jump front
Yeah,
page.
just shonenjump.viz.com. If you open it up, it's the first thing that comes up.
I'm using the app, so.
Oh.
Robin looks like...
Yeah, it shows up on the app. It shows up on, like, where is it? The main page?
I think when you just open the app, as long as it's reloaded,
Like, right when
Anyway.
you open the app, it should have. Yeah, that's at the top.
I do love that Robin is the teacher, and that
Her
book
outfit
is
looks
great.
Like,
Parodian.
Hair Sparrow, yeah.
Yeah. Prosperos. I was gonna say, like, it's the same color. It's got the rainbow
Has the
gumdrops or
candies
whatever.
on it, yeah.
Yeah.
If Paraspero weren't a creepy,
Licking
He's
guy.
not that creepy. Yeah, he's just a weird
I
looking
hate
dude.
Paraspero. That's
Wow.
just me. Yeah,
He is
I
kind of a
have-
creepy guy.
From Zach
Yeah.
Logan.
I mean, if anybody said the word lick at the end of any sentence, it would be pretty creepy all the time.
Yeah. Like, I don't have a good. Wait, by the way, does Robin have like dichromatic eyes going on here, or is that
Yeah.
like an error?
She got the David Bowie thing going on.
That's just.
Yeah,
uh,
she
No,
does.
David Bowie just had one big pupil, so his eyes look like that.
Oh yeah,
Also,
that's
she's
got
got that
that's what
gross-
Robin's eyes looks like.
that gross paper candy on her dress. Ugh.
Oh, yeah, like the
Oh,
little
yeah.
dots on the wax paper. that tastes
Oh,
like
that's
nothing.
what that is.
And you
Ew.
get paper every single time. Mhm. It's always stuck
See,
on the bottom.
we're bringing the people what they wanted to hear. Let's talk about the color spread. Ralph, talk about Frankie's hair.
Frankie's hair is amazing. It's this ponytail. I don't think he's ever had this haircut before.
This is like out of an early '90s show.
Yeah, he's
Some
got
sort,
some
yeah.
awesome beach bro hair right now.
Yo, this is
It is great.
Captain Ron Frankie.
Oda doesn't usually draw men with like really long hair this way.
Not with, well, especially not with
Usopp?
ponytails.
Usopp literally
Frankie
has
has
that all the
Usopp's hair.
time.
Yeah, but most
that's-
male characters don't though.
Brooke.
Brooke has an afro.
That's different.
Yeah. Okay. True. Actually, Luffy would look great with the ponytail. Any other thoughts on this color spread?
Sanji is having so much fun.
much fun.
What kind of
Looks like
boat
he's-
has
Someone,
people in front of the driver?
well,
I know
someone
the answer to that.
commented that it's like
A
a
lucky
fake
boat.
steering wheel, so you can just like
Yeah.
pretend he's driving.
Oh
It's
yeah,
like
he's
on the
the
on the
little brother.
Disneyland
Yeah,
rides.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's like Indiana Jones. You're like, woo.
This
Yeah,
is a
he's-
good color spread for the Frankie and Robin shippers.
I know,
yeah.
right? It's so good.
But he's holding Brooke like that too.
Oh, that's what's going on there?
Yeah.
And Brooke is clearly like, oh, hold your hands up.
He looks like he's trying to have fun, but he's not.
He's slipping out of his pants.
Oh, this is great.
Well, this is also the
kind
color
of-
spread for people who love Brooks midriff.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Mid spine.
Brooke is that guy who's trying to have fun, but is usually not. So I think that fits. versus Usopp, who doesn't even want to have fun.
Oh no, I'm Brooke. I just realized it.
It's like I'll go on the roller coaster, but
Yeah.
I'm not gonna have fun there.
I think
Oh,
Adil
yeah.
mentioned something
Rare,
about the turtles being from Treasure Cruise.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I recognize him.
Yeah.
Look at how
Um,
happy Zoro looks. He's so cute.
Yeah, this is a rare Zoro smiling without like
He's like,
gnarling his teeth.
well, he's like asleep, so that's probably why he's happy.
Pick up your speed.
He might not
Speed.
be
Pick him up.
Pick it up.
Pick him up.
I love
I like
like Duck has the Neko hat. Like that's
Yeah.
cute. Just because.
So what's up with Chopper's cheek? Like, what is going on there?
He ate a turtle.
No. Nami gave him a candy like she's giving the turtle a candy.
See, there you go. That's the detail I know.
Does the turtle
Context
have a
clues.
candy in its mouth, or is that its tongue?
I think it's his tongue.
That's definitely the tongue.
It's his tongue.
Yeah.
He's like, give it to me. Give me the candy.
I guess she got the candy from Robin's weird paper candy dress.
It's a continuation.
Yeah.
That poor
this happened
turtle.
right after.
We know who
This
won
is-
the trivia.
I was gonna say this is them celebrating. I like the idea of Chopper accidentally having eaten one of the turtle babies, and he's trying to explain to the other turtle.
Or one of
I'm
the-
sorry. It flew
Yeah.
into my mouth.
Oh, it's candy.
I thought it was candy.
What did Chopper like raid the beach the day all the sea turtles were born? Like a
Like every
Monster.
single animal.
Ooh, a ping pong ball. I think I'll eat it.
Exactly.
That's not a rumble ball.
If the like the back of this boat is like a rocket ship, presumably that's where the engine is, then why is there a duck in the front? Is he just like a prisoner of this boat? He's just
Strapped in.
strapped in. Like, help me.
Pick up your
His,
like
his
a-
wings are strapped down too.
You know what they say? Billsness in the front, party in the back.
He's like Mad Max tied to the front of the truck in this image here.
oh, this is a terrible day.
So if Oda did Ducktail, wow, Lucy, you really don't like this chapter. If Oda did DuckTales, is that what would be right in the middle there of the O in One Piece?
Sure.
No. I don't know.
Isn't this
Launchpad McQuack? Is
not- it's
is
not
that
a
a
duck.
duck?
Isn't this more? Aren't these more like? It's look more like swans. Well, I don't know. Ducks don't have that long of a neck.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I agree.
You guys are all
No,
so
but
wrong.
no, swans have black bills, don't they?
No, they have
Well-
yellow with like a white, like a black dot at the end.
And I think you're forgetting the most important detail. Swans are dicks.
That is true. Absolutely.
Maybe it's like
Maybe
goose.
it's a goose. Yeah.
Jinx.
Oh, he's alive,
Oh,
you
man.
goose.
Okay, we've been spending almost 10 minutes talking about nothing. So let's get into the chapter. We broke Steve already. This is going to be some manga recap. Everyone's going to hate us, and
They
that's why-
already do.
They already do. That's why everyone listens to us. They love to hate us. Ed, what's going on in the first page?
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba, new Marineford.
Okay, we have made that joke
Yeah.
so often, but I mean, Oda must know that
Get
that
it.
looks exactly like that. I
The
mean,
golden arches.
It's New
I'm
McDonald's.
loving it. Wait. We did that.
oh, you can see by the way. So they're supposed to be seagulls. You can see the bottom now actually has the black, like the seagulls in One Piece do,
Oh,
which
yeah.
I have not noticed until just now, staring at them. Anyway, go ahead.
So you in the middle of a discussion, and we find out that it's Sakazuki saying, "You must be happy, Isho. You've always wanted the Seven Warlords gone." He says, "I was against it, but I can't overrule the king's decision." And I guess this is Isho Fujitora replying on the snail. He says, "You talk about necessary sacrifices to keep the warlords going. You only say such a thing because you've never been one of them. Let's just put our trust in SSG to do its job. No doubt the world's power balance is about to make a major change." And you get there's debris hovering in the it's a momentous occasion, with the dramatic
Dramatic
vacant
white background. Yeah.
vacant panel, yeah.
Yeah. It's
Alex.
got like a kaboom in the background. Must have been that bean he had for dinner.
Oh no, well you'll see why in a second.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of unpredictable developments, as Sakazuki continues his conversation with Isho, there is bedlam happening on Fujitori's boat. He's all bandaged up for some reason, and his ship seems to be under attack, and we see that it's fighting. It seems to be fighting a Sea King in the panel below.
Maybe calm belt related.
Perhaps, yeah.
Like
No. They got that stuff on the bottom of the boat so they don't get attacked by Sea Kings.
Oh yeah,
but
that's
there
right.
definitely is a Sea King attacking them. So
Come on,
maybe...
guys, this is East Blue knowledge here.
No. But the Sea King is still attacking them. I assume it is some sort of Sea King. It looks bigger than a ship or the size of it. Anyway, go ahead, Alex. It's not important.
Yeah, Isha doesn't seem to be very affected by it.
Well, you can't see it anyways.
Yeah. That's true. Hey, that's true. But Sakazuki tells him that over in Wano, Kaido and Big Mom are apparently going to join forces, and this even has Isho a little concerned. He says, "My word, it's the return of rocks." Well, I hate to break it. What?
Keep going.
Okay. I'd hate to break it to Isho, but rocks do exist, as well as trees and dirt and clouds and
The first theme song from Naruto.
that's
Yeah.
Oh yes.
And this is why I spelled this name ROX originally, because what are you supposed to do? How do you react to someone saying, "Hey, you ever heard of rocks?"
Yes, stupid.
Yeah, the first opening for Naruto, I personally loved it, by the way.
Naruto had
it's
some
a
good
plural
openings,
of
let's be
rock.
honest. Rock
and,
Lee.
Yes. So Sakazuki says, well, you don't need to speak of it like some legend. It's all reality. And at a time when we're too busy to do anything else, this is just the latest disaster. So the Navy seems to be up to their armpits in paperwork and actual work. And here we are back at Marineford, New Marineford, sorry. And two of the Emperors have teamed up, and of all times it has to be now. And technically, the intel says they're about to team up. Someone explains
just
to them.
because you're factual doesn't mean you're interesting.
Yes, that's right.
Wait, we all know who's
buddy.
saying technically. It's
Yeah.
the guy you're about to introduce.
They're teaming up at an alarming speed. Brand new is actually database. So it's brand new. We all love that guy. He's basically Mr. Exposition. Whenever new bounties come up. He should be Professor Frank, honestly.
He's been around forever. He's been around since like episode 90.
That's gonna be Vegapunk at this point.
The
And
colors,
Vegas-
That
children.
monkey's gotta pay.
He's constantly had to give really bad news.
Yes. Oh, he could be Farnsworth as well.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
Brandy says there's been no damage as of yet, and we don't know their goals or how we might counter them. So we're in the big Marine meeting hall where normally Brand New would give his briefings about bounties and.
He's been
so
doing
on
it
and so
since day one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it
since,
looks more like a classroom.
It
give
kind of
a
does,
lesson.
yeah.
It basically is, which is, I have thoughts on this chapter, but that is the thing that took me out of it the most, is like, they're just in a classroom listening to Brand New talk.
Man,
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
they're all sitting crisscross applesauce on the floor.
it's cross applesauce.
Playing
Um,
Duck Goose.
So Brand New also mentions that also we have far too few details about this legendary Rocks pirate crew.
Can you keep up a database voice for the rest of the chapter?
I kind of want to, because the way he's talking about it, the way he's talking is it's ripe for it. Also, we have far too few details about the legendary Rocks pirate crew, which is great because he's saying what the audience is thinking. So Sengoku, it's Sengoku story time. Story time with Sengoku. He gives his 2 cents, saying, "Big Mom and Kaido have always had tempestuous rivalry. I wouldn't have expected this to happen. Seems like more than a few of our soldiers have never even heard of rocks these days. Jesus, get out more. Like, go outside.
They're minerals.
Only I found that funny.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Marie. This is a very fun chapter to read, actually. Just, man. The Rocks Pirates were a collection of individuals, minerals, who came together on the pirate island. This collection of rocks was there were a bunch of individuals who came together. I'm
imagining pet rocks, but of all of the rocks pirates we see soon.
Oh my god!
You got Big Mom Rock, and you
The
got
Pet Rocks Pirates?
The Pet Rocks
Oh my God.
Pirates.
There's
Yes.
going to be a whole bunch of really bad episode titles tonight. They are a bunch of individuals who came together on the pirate island Full Ed. Sounds familiar? Years ago to make one big score. They're a fierce bunch, constantly killing one another within the group. And before I turn to the page, we have some Marines that we've never seen before. This is a really awesome chance for Oda to draw some new blood within the ranks of the Marines. We got a guy wearing a babushka over there, a Mr. Goggle face, a guy who looks a lot like Commander Tank from Dressrosa. And then we got a guy over there on the right who he looks like he's wearing a Common Rider helmet in the far right.
Yeah, he's
Little
pretty
grasshopper
cool.
man.
Yeah.
Little
That's my favorite.
grasshopper man.
Another great episode title for
Captain Little-
today.
Would be
Little
better as
Grasshopper Man.
a cricket man, and whenever there's an awkward silence, you just hear him.
If we zoom in on him, we'll see like a tiny little Oda box that says Navy HQ, Captain Tiny Little Grasshopper Man.
Little tiny grasshopper man.
It's only gonna get worse from here.
Oh God, yeah. Anyway,
Okay.
next page.
Maddie.
All right. So Sengoku continues. In addition to their captain, Rocks, they also featured a young Whitebeard, Big Mom, and Kaido. And then all the Marines are like, what?
Oh, I know this is a big reveal.
Yes.
Look at all those silhouettes.
I know this is
No way is cool.
Damn it, Ed! That was my joke.
So what's funny is that the way Big Mom is posed and Kaido's club is right there, it looks like Alvida is like a fusion in between the two of them.
Or maybe their child. Ooh.
Glad to see Gladius was finding work way back in the day.
Is that Shiki in the corner there?
Oh, it probably is.
Yeah, that's probably
Ah, yeah.
Probably is.
The hair, you can tell.
He's got the hair.
And he's eating his chocodiles.
Chocoda.
guys. It could be Weevil.
They're like, wait, Weevil, like, maybe it's Weevil's actual
Son,
dad?
father and son together
Oh, yeah.
on the same ship.
They're having pizza club.
Anyway, try to get out of this panel. All right, yeah, okay. So Sengoku continues. Yes, it's true. The three of them were part of the same pirate crew years ago, and everybody's like, "What? I can't believe this!" And we got another good shot of Marines in disbelief, including Panda Man, as well as a guy with like a rooster comb. And so Sengoku continues. There are other Rocks members who went on to carve a name for themselves: the Golden Lion, the Silver Axe, Captain John, Wing Z. And the Marines are just like, how can this be real? How can something this huge be lost to history? They're reacting like all of the readers are right now.
One like is actually a real pirate that Oda just took the name from. A real pirate.
It's just, that's cool. It's like, got lazy. It's just like, yeah. All right. And Sengoku...
Everybody Wang Chi tonight. You know.
He was actually a pretty interesting figure because I guess apparently he was partially responsible for helping like sort of escort or to guide the Portuguese missionaries to Japan. So it, has a very like big historical role in the big scheme of things, which is kind of interesting.
Thank you for the history lesson. All right, so Sengoku continues. Well, they got along terribly. Not one of them actually wants to tell the tale. The ambition of their Captain Rocks was to be king of the world. They opened hostilities directly against the world government, like some kind of terrorist organization. Sengoku gives us all this intense information while petting his adorable baby goat. And
King of the world. You
Best
guys, I
time.
think.
Hey, no, we can
I'm
stunt
king of the
casting.
world.
Yeah, Leonardo
I think
DiCaprio. We can get him.
No, Captain Rocks is James Cameron. You guys, come on.
Freaking Sengoku's goat here getting petted.
That's a champion pet taker right there.
Yeah.
that's a good goat face.
Yeah, it is.
That's why he's
right.
the greatest of all time.
Hey, okay. And so we can.
Yikes.
That would really
Sen-
hurt.
Sengoku continues. The government itself covered up much of their deeds, but at the time, everyone had heard of the threat they posed. This was due to a fateful event 38 years ago at God Valley. The Rocks pirates.
Laughed at that.
What?
Someone laughed at God Valley. No one laughs at God Valley.
Sorry, was that
Are
blasphemous? My mistake.
Do the letters just hang in the air like that?
You just drive up. It's like the Hollywood sign. It's just like
Yeah,
God Valley.
I thought it
No,
said
it's
Gerudo
actually God
for a
Valley
second.
Land.
It's like a Studio Trigger anime.
It's God Valet. Wait, or how do we know we're in God Valley? Do you see the giant words above you?
What if
Because you see
you're, like,
carved
headed-
in a rock, it says Eneru was here with a Z.
What if you're headed toward God Valley at the wrong angle, and it's like they're all 2D, so you don't see them?
Oh my God.
So
You're like,
it'd
where
be,
am I? Am I here?
Oh, you're
Yellav
at
dog.
Yellav dog.
Yellav dog. To be fair,
That sounds like a Jewish holiday.
that's what I'm celebrating right now.
Is that what you say to Lucy when you need her to stay quiet during a podcast? Like,
Yellav dog. Yellav. Oh, she's not even reacting to me.
Oh my god.
Oh God.
Oh boy. All right. So the Rocks pirates, the strongest crew in the world, were wiped out at an island called God Valley. It's an island, not a valley, by the way. If the name was confusing.
It's a peninsula.
Yeah, technically, Monster Island's not really an island. It's sort of
Yeah, so that's that's according to the news reports, by the way. So we don't know that for sure. But anyway, okay. And a rampaging force of evil that none had been able to stop had been taken by a Navy vice admiral by the name of Garp. His name was heard across the world, and he was soon called a naval hero.
he is swole.
His cute
That's an
little
awesome
mustache.
panel.
Yeah, he
Steve.
looks really fantastic.
It-
Garp
it-
has always been cool, but like, man.
I don't know if that's a mustache, Ed. That might just be more blood.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
his
yeah.
nose just bleeding. Do you think he had
yeah.
like a Hitler mustache?
Yeah, come on.
Hey, I mean,
Hey,
I don't
Is
know.
that-
It's not that weird. If people in Japan still have mustaches like that.
Charlie Chaplin,
It's a chap,
toothbrush
yeah.
mustache.
Yeah.
That's-
is that him getting the scar that he has now there? Or
No,
was
he
that,
has
you
it
can
already.
kind of already see it, yeah.
The scarp.
Scarp.
The scarf.
Oh, I don't know.
Infinity Scarp.
Anyway,
Yeah.
You
So
thought this
I
would be
know
an
it
easy
says-
episode, but I'm already up to
God.
like 10. Go ahead.
So,
Ed,
I was
Alex, you were gonna say something? Yeah.
Well, yeah, in the panel that showcases the silhouettes of all the Rocks pirates, and it says Rocks in the background, but it kind of, at first glance, because I'm a huge Star Wars idiot, it looked like Bosk, which is the name of the bounty hunters. And then at another glance, it just looks like Books.
books, pirates, bunch of
Yeah.
nerds.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's like one of those library posters telling you to read. But with just all the rocks.
Pirates read books.
Reading rocks.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
Oh my god.
God.
Turn the page before we get stuck here forever.
Oh, it gets worse.
Steve.
I'm doing these. So that's how the name started. And so that's how he got his name. I believe the Sengoku is saying there's so many. Someone else is saying there's so many legends about him already. And Sengoku says, but the man himself never wants to talk about that one. And they're like, huh? Why not? As we cut to Garp in the moment, and he's traveling back from Fishman Island to the surface. Remember this fun adventure? Wood blocks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Superfluidywood.com.
Look at that. He's got an
Saying wood
ellipsis.
blocks.
He's got an ellipsis. He's not talking about it.
On the old SS Rough, as yes, it was once named.
I love that boat so much.
Mhm. It's a big doghouse.
It's a good boat.
It's a fine boat, but it's no doghouse English. But for the sake of historical record, that's okay. So Sengoku's like, he doesn't want to speak of it, but he's not here, so let's get into it. It's like, I'll tell you just a smidge. God, I feel like this is like Mary Poppins, like singing like a freaking bedtime story to
Definitely.
these Navios. Oh, tell us a story, Sengoku. Tell us a story. Oh, all right.
That's 100% what it is. That's why it's so funny.
But Garp does let out like a big, exhausting, cold sigh, saying, "Big Mom and Kaido, it's just one thing after another." He does not roll with Bogart anymore.
We haven't seen him in a while.
Like years.
Since Marineford.
Yeah, I guess so. And
I guess he's semi-retired, so he doesn't like Bogart. Probably got promoted or whatever.
They're not talking anymore.
Yeah, there was a falling out.
So we cut back to New Marineford Donald's, and Sengoku says the first reason. It's like top 5 reasons why Garp doesn't want to talk about this.
Top 5. Number 1.
Number 5.
Number 5. Number
says-
5 reasons. 5 reasons. Go ahead.
But the first reason why this was never reported is that he had to work with pirates to win the battle. And the guys are like, pirates?
We've never seen that in One Piece. Punk Hazard and a lot of other times.
Oh, murmur,
Yeah.
murmur. He says, reason number 2. Look what I could do. No. He says, is that he protected, get this, celestial dragons in doing so. Ugh. We don't like them. And people are like, oh, where did the celestial dragons come in?
Where do they? Don't they always?
And then this Mike Tyson guy, he says, should it be a sailor's duty to protect celestial dragons? And Sengoku says, yes, that's right.
I love how Mike Tyson is the one who actually follows the letter of the law. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. In this
is
universe.
fiction.
Yeah.
In this depiction.
Sengoku says, his moral compass spares no room for such duty. The reason Garp always refused to take an admiral's position, which is something I've always wondered about for years, this is me talking about Sengoku, is because it would place him directly, underneath the command of the Celestial Dragons. It's only his accomplishments and his stature in the Navy that keep him from being eliminated for this insubordination. So, can you imagine that being forced into a promotion? That's crazy. But saying your boss sucks, I guess. But in short, this is the truth. In order to protect these celestial dragons and their slaves, Sengoku's just gagging at his own story. At God Valley, Garp joined forces with Roger there at the island, and they broke apart the Rocks Pirates. That is the God Valley incident. Bum, bum, bum.
That's a good line there, Stephen. They broke apart the rocks, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
They busted the rock.
Apparently, you can stop the rock.
Oh my god. By the way, I'm sure we'll I'm sure we'll talk about this, but Garp and Roger's relationship, I guess, budded here, and now the Ace stuff actually makes a lot more sense. So that was for me. I know there's a lot of reveals in this chapter, but that was for me the most satisfying one. Steven.
Yeah, this is a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Oh my god! Look at the goat.
That is to the shock of all of the Marines. He fought side by side with the king of the pirates, and even the goat is like, "What? Really?" He's got the little head tilt going on. It's very cute. By the way,
no. Sorry, the goat knew, and you could see it in his face, his demonic little face. Anyway, go ahead.
No, Zach. That's just a pet of. I'm sorry. That's a face of just, hey, pet me more.
Yeah, you know what? I get that face all the time.
So, by the way, Garp's coat says "retired" on it. So
that's great.
So it's just so you know, he puts it out there.
Guys, don't let me forget this. But whenever we finish doing the podcast, I need to get a giant coat that says "retired" on the back. Go ahead.
And so as the audience, once again, what a lineup! Celestial Dragons, Roger, Rocks, they're all together. What happened there? I've never even heard of a place called God Valley. And Sengoku's like, that's because you won't find any map featuring an island called God Valley. You got to look for Yellav dog. No, he says, as a matter of fact, God Valley itself vanished without a trace. We get a little we get a little like a cut over of the map, but the better part is that the goat is like leaning into the camera, really menacing here.
Pet me more now.
Yeah. And so Sengoku kind of sums it up here. He's like, so the world government wanted to hide the existence of this island, and then it disappeared entirely. Do I need to say more? Do you still want to hear more about it? And
what is it, the owl from Legend of Zelda?
You still want to hear more about it, and it turns out Mayor McCheese does not want to hear more about it.
That's not Mayor McCheese. That's Big Mac. Beloved naval commander and best friend to Vice Admiral Ronald McDonald.
So yeah, he definitely has a hamburger for a head. I thought maybe I was just really hungry, but that's definitely a hamburger head.
That is a hamburger.
So wait, is his mustache, is that lettuce or is that like the meat patty?
I think the meat patty might just be his
teeth.
Oh yeah, his teeth. Yeah.
So it's a lettuce mustache.
I don't like any of it.
Oh, lettuce lips. It's a Dick Tracy villain.
My first when I was reading through this, I was just like, oh, this must be Captain Burger time, and then I just moved forward.
It's so normal now. It's just like, okay.
Same as Captain Burger time. I pray that there's a character named Captain Barbecue time.
Stole my joke. I was gonna say, Captain Burger's favorite place, or actually worst place to go, is where Apis was from, because they have the best piggies in the blanket on the whole island, and that's where the barbecue. Anyway, please, Steven.
So if he ate the burger fruit, like, does that just look like? Did he think he was eating a burger, and then he's just like, oh, this is a fruit. It tastes like shit.
What if it's a smile fruit? So it's like, oh god, I want to get these awesome burger powers, but all I got was a stupid burger head.
The irony is that he's a vegetarian.
Oh my god, it's really ironic at that point. Oh, it's an Impossible Burger. Captain Impossible Burger.
Captain Impossible, yeah.
I like that.
All right. So Sengoku says, he continues, because Rox was so ambitious in his pursuit of being king of the world, and he broke too many of the world's taboos, there is no information in the public about the Rox pirates. And he's finally given in and resumed petting the goat, as he should.
Oh, you're right. Now he's all fine, the goat.
Mm-hmm. The Rox pirates only exist in the memories of a few soldiers in our old generation, and these young whippersnappers here, they don't know. I know we're talking about a long time ago, but it's hard to imagine one man leading 3 of the 4 emperors as we know them today. And Sengoku says he was Roger's first foe and perhaps his greatest. The captain was typically known only as Rox, but his full name was Rox D. Zebek, one of the rare pirates with the initial of D, though he is no longer alive to speak of it. And we see that this appears to be the spiky-headed guy from the previous illustration. And he's definitely got some Wild Thing hair there. Zebek is in addition to the name of an old anime studio, it is also the more specifically named for a type of ship is a Mediterranean ship. And the funny thing too here was that you may recall when Oda first hinted about this whole storyline back in like pre-Wano chapters. I think I had originally spelled it ROX because, I was like, okay, well, I don't know if it's supposed to be ROCKS, and there's no information here to back it up. And so in this chapter, obviously, he wrote out in the art rocks, like the word rock. And the funny thing is, if you look at the Wikipedia article for Zebek, it has like 100 different spellings of that particular word, depending on like which language and which culture it's coming from. So he could be setting me up again, where it's like, okay, well, he could look into dictionary and pick out like 100 different spellings for this name. So I guess don't get too attached to it. But there you go. That's the origin of that name.
And if you want the origin of the initial D, you won't get it here.
It's clearly Rockstar's dad.
Yes, I think we already.
Yeah,
I think we mentioned that. Yeah,
we saw that.
I don't doubt that because we all have been dismissing Rockstar for the last 10 years or so, and lo and behold, he comes back. And he's big character.
Maybe that's why Shanks sent him to Whitebeard's ship as courier, because he's like, oh well, you're gonna be fine. You're related to Rux.
Yeah, they all loved each other. I'm sure he won't dismiss
Or maybe,
him out of hand.
or maybe he's just the evil reincarnation of Rox.
You mean like Oob?
But like
Oob
evil.
is Boo spelled backwards.
I call the big one.
Rox spelled backwards is score.
Good for Eustace R. Dewo.
And Score, of course, was born on the famous island Yellav dog. So we continue.
Die.
So we zoom out in New Marineford and hear that, yes, Kaido and Big Mom were in fact on the same ship. I mentioned that like 10 seconds ago, long in the past, but 38 years ago, they were nothing like they are today. So if this alliance is true, then it is the birth of the most dangerous pirate crew in the world. That's how Sengoku was talking there, and he asks the class teacher, brand new, what are their bounties at now? And even Pongoed here is curious, as he says, yes, with the 7 warlords no longer having the protection, it's time to go back to the drawing boards.
You have to stop this.
Wondering how long you could take that. It's time.
Zach,
I realize now
you need to offer them more voice. That's your golden
you
ticket
need
right
to
there.
offer them more. No, I just realized who that sounds exactly like. So they say with the 7 warlords no longer having protection, it's time to go back to the drawing boards for new bounties. And he says, let's go over the new numbers. Let's take the projector out. Everyone likes slides. Let's look at some slides. This will be fun.
Check out these are the pictures from my scuba trip to Belize.
Here's me. Here's me enjoying the beautiful East blue. Anyway, so he said, let's go over all the numbers. Everyone likes numbers. Everyone likes spreadsheets. Oh my God, brand new is me.
Oh God.
Jesus.
Yeah, you got to grow out your afro again, Zach.
But it's called a Jufro. I'm very proud of it.
Well, as long as you say it before me, so.
You're allowed to say Jufro, Steve. As long as it's not condescendingly.
In my tone, it kind of would have sounded that way.
To be fair, everything you say sounds condescending. So brand new, aka Zach Logan, says, starting with the newest of the four emperors, having been given the title just 1 year ago. Oh shit, I have to cosplay him now, don't I? Anyway, Blackbeard, he says, though his assault on what?
Oh,
Steve?
no. You said newest of the bunch, and I'm all of a sudden thinking brand new is just like cutting like a DK rap with all the emperors.
I was thinking it too.
Thank you.
Or
Okay.
wait,
Yeah.
maybe he does the new 4Kids rap right here. No. Anyway,
No,
he
please,
says through.
please no.
I was waiting for Steve there. He says, so even though Blackbeard's assault on Impel Down 2 years ago, not even though his assault, through his assault on Impel Down, I could read, guys. Through his assault on Impel Down 2 years ago, he gained mighty new followers. So the current boss of the pirate island Fullaled, which we heard about earlier, and expanding his territory to fill the void left by Whitebeard. Here he is, the man himself, Commodore of the Blackbeard Pirates, the guy whose berry bounty you already knew, Marshall D. Teach, 2,247,600,000 berries. Aren't you all impressed by that hyper-specific number? Steven, is there a joke for that number?
I don't know. I think this is the one. So I did, I went over this with Greg. We did some brainstorming on these numbers for the sort of, the numerical jokes that Oda likes to put in. And I think this is the one that we still don't know for sure what it is, what it is derived from. So I don't know. You can keep in mind, obviously, like with like 5 or 6 different numbers in a row, you can tell obviously, okay, all these like subsequent digits don't really matter. It's like it's the billion and the 100 million thing that is kind of like the thing that really tells you what you need to know. The rest of it is just kind of a joke. So I don't know if it's more just based on his relative strength or his relative danger level or however you want to define it. As compared to the jokes that I will explain for the other ones, but I don't think we know for sure what it is yet for Black.
I know we'll talk about this more, but in the One Piece world, it makes no sense why they are so hyper specific. I'm sure we could come up with a reason.
Maybe, I mean, I know he doesn't say, he never actually says Blackbeard in the manga. It's always Kurohige, but 22 BB, that could be a potential source there. I don't know.
So yeah, Marshall D. Teach, and then everyone is shocked as if they had not heard of this person before.
Well, it's more like just the fear of him.
Or maybe it's the fear of not looking like they're paying attention to the slideshow. Anyway.
It's like, oh, it's hideous.
Next, a 6-year member of the Emperor class. He is the youngest of the 4, but with great trust from his subordinates. Beckman Ru Usopp. His crewmates.
Usopp.
Yes.
That was completely an accident.
From my intel here, from Usopp, Usopp's cool says that Usopp is part of the red-haired pirates.
Anyway, Beckman, Lucky Ru, Yasop, his crewmates are widely renowned with a high average bounty and the best balance. They pay their tab of any pirate crew, so there's no soft targets here. He's the handsomest of the seas. Ralph, who is he?
Chief of the red-haired pirates, Red Handsome Shanks. Oops, I mean red-haired Shanks.
Sorry, I stole your joke. Clearly.
Looking extremely photogenic. Like it's crazy how good he looks in his picture. It reminds me of that How I Met Your Mother skit with Barney, how every picture you take of him comes out perfect.
Oh, yeah.
He's rocking a 4,048,900,000 berries, that's a pretty high price. Everyone in the next panel is a little bit nervous.
That's
at how
almost
handsome he
double
looks.
Blackbeard. Yeah, that's almost double Blackbeard, and as everyone knows, that means he's twice as strong as Blackbeard.
So
as power levels go, yes.
Yeah.
The 489 there is so the 4 would be she, and the 8. One of the ways you can use 8 as a counter is the word yatsu. So ya, so she ya, and then 9 is ku. So shiaku, shianku, shanks. That's how they they say his name. So there you go. There's his name right in there.
That's cool.
I do think that's really cool. That I don't know, just like you could make like these kind of like, is it a pun? I don't exactly.
Yeah.
It's like the equivalent of when you use the numbers on the pad to like say secret messages based on like the ABC.
Well, like he's used this before for like all the birthdays as well.
Yes.
Most of them are jokes like this.
I just think it's really cool that you can do that. Like in Japanese, I don't know if so much works with like English names. Like,
wait, so
like,
it'd be like I don't know what. Like, I'm trying to think of.
Boa Hancock's bounty here would be 8,000,000 and 8,000. Yeah, 8,000,000.
Well, I just feel like if my bounty was based on like a pun off my name, it'd be something like Threve. I don't know.
Yeah.
a combination of 3 and 5.
They're just like cute puns. So yeah.
I like it.
All right, continuing on. Next, a born monster who laid waste to a village of giants in Elbaf as a toddler. She mistrusts anyone not a direct part of her family, and with her 85 children, she rules as the undisputed queen of the country of sweets, Totoland. Captain of the Big Mom Pirates, Charlotte Linlin, as this guy's taking a picture right before he was eaten. And she's sitting at 4,388,000,000 berries.
And that one, the 88 is almost certainly, so 8 is hachi. So that would be haha, for which is the word for mother, or it could also be ba. So it could also be baba, which means like old hag. So there you go.
Mm-hmm. And then everyone is shocked again, like they've never heard of these people at all. Lastly, a man who was known an apprentice pirate, a man who was only an apprentice pirate, when he was a member of the Rocks crew, he earned the respect of the ferocious pirates through his individual strength alone, until he was worthy of the title of Emperor of the Sea.
And that is none other than Supreme Commander of the Animal Kingdom Pirates, Kaido, King of the Beasts, with a bounty of 4,611,100,000.
And this one is this is kind of funny. This is like the hardest one to explain, but it was actually the one that I discovered or figured out first. And it has to do with the way that the Japanese count numbers, because so like in English and in other European languages, we will count like it goes, it turns over every 1,000, right? Then it becomes a different word. So it's like 1,000, million, billion, trillion. In Japanese, and in I believe it works this way in Chinese too. It's every like 4 digits instead of 3. So for example, like they count single digits, tens, hundreds, thousands, and then 10,000 is man. And then the next one up is 10 man, and then 100 man, and then 1,000 man. 10 and then 10,000 man, 10,000 10,000s, which is 100 million, is oku, and that's the next one where it rolls over. So if you actually say this out, so his name in Japanese is he's Hyakuju no Kaido, and it's like Hyakuju Kaizokudan, and that means literally 100 beasts or 100 wild animals. And if you count it out, if you actually say that his berry bounty in Japanese, it is Yonjuroku oku sen hyakuju man berries. So the 110 man, which is 1,100,000, is pronounced hyakuju man. So hyakuju, same sound as his the name of his crew and of his epithet. So it's basically going off of his title rather than his actual name. So that's where that one goes. It'll be easier to tell from the Japanese perspective when you see it in the anime, because he has to say it out loud. But I was like, oh, I see it right there.
Oh, well, that's fun. And another young Marine says, well, this is all rather overwhelming. And Brand New continues. From now on, we will no longer have the option of sending the power of the 7 warlords against these emperors. Time will tell if cleansing our own ranks was the right decision. And that will, of course, depend on the Navy's special science team, the SSG, mentioned earlier on in the chapter. Anyway, since you're here, I might as well reveal the bounties of some legends. Anyway, have some more. But by the way, you can tell that, and the rest. By the way, just in case you want to know, it's very evident that all of these are the strongest pirates because they have the best pictures on their bounty posters. Here he is, captain of the Whitebeard Pirates, Edward Newgate, with a bounty of 5,046,000,000 berries.
But by the way, before you explain, I'm pretty sure these last two were just revealed because the merchandise departments are like, look, we need to just give out all of these bounties. Just tell us what the others look like. Anyway,
We're buying too many things at the Mugiwara store. We're running.
I was going to say Brand New has spent a mint at the Mugiwara store.
Go ahead, Stephen.
So the 46 there, that would be Shi and Dodoku. So Shirohige, that's his name, Whitebeard.
There he is. Yep. And of course, there is Captain of the Roger Pirates, King of the Pirates, Gold Roger, 5,564,800,000 berries.
So he doesn't say Goldie Roger.
No, he doesn't.
Well, that's because they're not revealing to anyone that he is a D. For whatever reason, I don't know.
Yeah, it's also like that became like his pirate name, Gold Roger.
Yeah,
and
sounds better.
Yeah, now that I think about it, yeah. Does the Navy actually know his name is Gold D. Roger?
Yeah, they know.
I think they would. They would have.
They've mentioned it before that they have him as Gold Roger to hide the fact that the D, but his name is actually most of the Navy knows.
Oh, they said. I remember Correa said that, and I remember he said, "I don't know why people are calling me this."
No, I think they mentioned at Marineford when Ace is about to get executed, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, it was in a flashback, I think, that he says it. It's like he's talking to was he talking to Garp, I think?
Whitebeard. The two of them are drinking in Wano.
Or is it Whitebeard? Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, Stephen, Gold Rogers.
Yeah, so the last one, this is actually, it works similar to Shanks, where Shanks was Shiyaku, and this one, the 648 is Roshiya or Rojiya, Roja. So there you go.
Yeah. Also, almost Ace's bounty if you give or take a couple million.
Yeah.
This was what 550 million.
Aces was
550 million.
550. That's funny.
Yeah.
I think it's also probably important that his is less than 5.6 billion because that would be Gomu.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
So that's what Luffy should
God.
get.
Very slightly, yeah. Luffy's bounty will just
but he won't be king of the world. Ed, finish us off.
Well, he did make Avatar.
So,
He'll never be king of the world.
continues.
No.
There are no bounties in pirating history that surpass those of these two men. But if Big Mom and Kaido indeed form an alliance, their total combined bounty will easily surpass those. This is happening as we speak in the unaffiliated country of Wano. And Sakazuki slams open the door. We're not touching Wano. We don't have the manpower to spare on this at the moment, Sengoku.
What?
And,
What is this like? What is this film like a sitcom? He walks in. Whoa.
He slams the door open. You can see the.
He walks in and goes, "I don't think so, Tim."
Was he just
Not
waiting?
on my watch.
Was he just waiting outside the door listening until he heard the point where he's like, wait, no, I got to shut this down?
Yeah.
So, but Sengoku says, I have no desire to interfere either. I'm simply providing these young soldiers with some of the wisdom of experience.
Look
Pirates
at
are
how
human beings.
Pongoat is looking at Sakazuki. He is like, that guy is not going to pet me. And if he does, it would really hurt. Just saying. Go ahead.
So pirates are human beings with their own relationships. Whatever they do next will have a reason. And you won't anticipate the future if you don't know your history. And he says, speaking of which, I believe there was a pirate of Wano beloved by Whitebeard, Roger, and Redhair. And murmur. And Sekosuke's like, you mean Kozuki Odin? The man who was a commander under Whitebeard years ago? And I guess that's Sengoku saying, Odin was later recruited by Roger and accompanied the king of the pirates on this final voyage. Well, I can't imagine that Odin has any connection to all of this. Famous last words. Doesn't strike me as coincidental that all of these great figures should have such close ties to the land of Wano, Sakazuki.
Why is that the end of the chapter?
And we don't get
It's
another
like a
one
mid
until
conversation.
October 6th. 1 week.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Guess who's coming to Wano?
Nobody.
If the Navy decide, I feel like the Navy's just gonna show up at Wano. It's like, hey, what do you got up there? Oh, nothing. Just lots of Japanese things.
Okay, let's go around the horn. Thoughts on this chapter? I'm going to start with Steven.
Oh, with me.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. This is a very hard chapter, I think, to judge as a chapter because I mean it's just brand new in Sengoku's info dump. Like that's pretty much what the entire chapter is. It's just them sitting down with a bunch of charts and laying out some facts. And I don't know. I think it was interesting stuff. Like it certainly, at the very least, like it would suggest. It's kind of funny that Sengoku says, "Oh well, he's no longer alive, or he's no longer of this world, or whatever." But this is almost certainly the living legend, or whatever it was that Oda referred to in his like yearly message thing. At the end of last year, I believe that was, where he said this is going to be like the worst, the greatest foe that Luffy will have ever faced, or something like that. So I don't necessarily take Sengoku's story at face value as far as that part goes, but I don't know. It's hard for me to wrap my head around. I think I liked as a chapter. I think I liked the last one more, just because it. There was more like intrigue to it, and we got some like questions about characters that we know and love. Whereas this is just sort of like, hey, here's some crazy stuff that happened in the past that it's not really fully explained yet, or how it's going to prove to be important to the story. But I'm eager to learn more about Rocks to figure out what it is. But I'm kind of like, I want to find out more to the point where he doesn't just kind of sound like a movie villain. Because that's kind of how he comes off right now, as like, here's a crazy figure from the past. You never heard of him before. And now he's going to be the worst thing you've ever seen.
It's like that's exactly how they introduced Shiki.
Yeah, pretty much. Like that's the thing is of why I'm like, okay, well, it feels a little familiar so far. And I'm sure it's something that will come more into play by the end of the arc, or maybe whatever is he's setting up for after Wano. I don't know, but it's certainly big. That's for sure. I'll let other people talk because I have more thoughts, but it's kind of hard to organize them all.
Ralph.
It was pretty good. It's definitely fan service heavy. A lot of questions being answered. And those bounty posters are pretty great. I always love seeing the faces they have on them, especially with Roger yelling at the cameraman as he is.
Hey!
Yeah. But hearing him say that Big Mom and Kaido have the highest bounties out of everybody kind of makes me a little concerned. Where in the future, like, tougher people lie,
Mm-hmm. It does feel like it's like the peak of this arc is looking larger and larger, whereas at first it seemed like, oh, this is going to be where we beat Kaido, and then we have to figure out Shanks and Whitebeard and the giant stuff, but it almost seems like everything is really converging specifically on this arc, which is kind of surprising, I guess.
Yeah, the main thing being that Wano is super important, very, very important.
Yeah.
But otherwise, yeah, it was good. A lot of information, and information is always good.
Alex.
Yeah. Wow. So this is an interesting chapter. As Steven said, kind of an info dump. I'm really curious as to how Isho got so hurt. And part of me wondered as soon as we saw him, I'm like, oh man, are we going to see Ryokugyu? And my heart weeps for Joey. Because we still don't know which actor he's based off of. So this info was pretty neat. I was particularly like the bounty stuff is interesting for sure, but at this point in the story, I don't really care about bounties anymore because they're not, they've never been an indicator of strength. But it is interesting to see like where the top lies and what Roger's bounty is or was. Like, do they adjust bounties for inflation? Because it's been like 30 years since he died. So does that increase? Like.
The world government doesn't have inflation.
Perfect in every way.
It's a perfect valuation of the currency. Don't look into it.
The Garp stuff I think is the most interesting stuff because I love Garp so much. He is such a badass. And the more I see of him in the past, the more I just want a Garp spinoff. Like, so bad. I mean, look at that panel. He just bloodied and cool, and he like clearly kicked some ass. I want to see it. Rocks. This is this might even be worse than the last chapters, like, teasing. Just because, like, Steven said it perfectly. He does feel like I hope, like, I'm worried that Rocks is going to be like the final big bad or whatever. And we just barely know about him, like this far into the story. I don't know. Jury's out on that, I guess. But God, yeah.
What if Rocks is Emu?
I mean, maybe
he's the king of the world. Oh no!
Oh shit! God, maybe.
Timestamp this. Remember the day I said this because give me the prize if I call it.
It's Rockstar. It's Rockstar.
I'll take my $1 million check now, Mr. Oda-san Sensei Kun.
But yeah, the God.
It's possible though, Steve.
God Valley stuff. So the God Valley stuff, I think, is the most interesting thing, particularly because it vanished off the map. Does that mean Buster Call or something else? Sam tweeted out maybe it got sent to the moon. I think that is actually a pretty cool theory, and it'll let us go to the moon, and God is already there, so it makes complete sense. Sure. I'm gonna leave most of the rest for everybody else, but there's one thing that like I don't know, I haven't seen the internet talk about, or people, I don't know. I think this is like the most interesting part of this whole Rocks, Garp joining forces with Roger thing. In order to protect celestial dragons and their slaves at God Valley, so like normally Garp hates the celestial dragons and won't protect them, but is he protecting the celestial dragons, or is he protecting the slaves specifically? Like that's kind of what I want to know. Like I want to know more to this particular story and how exactly the celestial dragons are involved with it.
I mean, the emphasis on slaves. I don't know, Stephen.
Well, yeah. So in that case, he doesn't mention the slaves in the earlier sentences. He's just talking about celestial dragons. I think the addition of the mention of slaves was it's probably twofold, which is that, he was protecting them as well, and also that like, yeah, this is why he doesn't want to be associated with the celestial dragons, is because they were there with their slaves. Like, remember, these are fucked up guys. Like, we don't, they're not good people. And so that was part of Garp's mindset for not wanting to be kind of associated with them.
Yeah. So that's I don't know. That's all that stuff I just want to find out more about, just because why would
Alex,
Garp want to?
Yeah, I was gonna say, why would he? What's the motivation there even?
Yeah, I want to know more about this whole Garp situation. Also, very really cool revelation as to why he didn't want to get promoted. Like that's cool as hell. Garp's the shit.
Yeah.
Garp is king shit of Fuck Mountain.
I mean, I know we always like just kind of assume like, oh, he's the kind of guy who wouldn't like take the limelight. Like he's obviously staying as a vice admiral for a reason. But it is interesting to see that like Oda gave it an actual like incident that is directly tied to it, that explains it. That was very cool.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of interesting that we don't see in this big group of people any Marines that we know. Because I guess all the Marines that we know are out,
doing actual work.
Yeah, they're doing work. And they mentioned that, only youngsters don't know, but, people my age do. And I keep thinking like, oh, well, Hina knew about rocks, smoking about rocks. I think it's like something that maybe, it's just, I think it's interesting that this didn't get passed down to them, but I think it's also Oda's way of explaining why we don't know as well.
Yeah,
just fine. Anyway, I liked the chapter. I thought it was great.
I think that was one of the things that did also kind of bug me, was it's like, okay, he kind of did, like, I would say maybe like 75 or 80% of the way there to sort of explaining why it doesn't, it hasn't popped up before. They're like, oh yeah, guess what? There's this super, super duper important thing that happened that you've never heard of in the story. And like having it be like, oh, well, you've seen what the government could do to cover up stuff. It's like, okay, yeah, I can buy that. But then you still have all these Marine guys that are just like, oh yeah, I know, I remember that. Like I did that, or, like that it was public knowledge at the time. So why don't the people remember it? And, stuff like that. It's just, it could have been a little cleaner, I guess, but I'm willing to go with it for story purposes.
Yeah.
Maddie, do you have any overall thoughts on the chapter that you wanted to?
Not really. It was a lot of information. I posted the picture of the goat just staring as me trying to think about this chapter. So it's it's cool. It's a lot to take in. It's all very interesting, but my brain isn't good enough to make some cool, insightful comment.
Not with that attitude.
Also, I've been drawing in the background, so I have like not been thinking.
That's why
my final thoughts are that was a good chapter.
Steve,
Mm-hmm.
You said it, Marty. This was a fun exposition. Like, you know what? I enjoyed this chapter because I got to just discuss it with all you guys and crack a lot of jokes and have a good time. Like on its own, I was like, okay, this is interesting. It's a big info dub. I don't think I enjoyed as much as last week's. Sorry, internet. But I think I kind of agree with Alex. Maybe I've just like stolen his whole stance on bounties. I'm like, yeah, I don't really care about them. I mean, I think like my whole thing is like Roger was the king of the pirates. He's top tier pirate. He's final boss pirate. It doesn't matter to me what his power level is because he was the king of the pirates. He won. Game over. He's got the I don't know. I'm rambling on. I guess maybe just if I think about God, I almost said power levels. Bounties is a little bit more. I think it's Blackbeard still having the lowest bounty. Then again, he's the newest emperor, is maybe still the Navy's underestimating him, because I think Blackbeard's going to do something big that is going to really shake up everything. Not like the foundation of the entire world in One Piece hasn't been shaken up already ever since the start of this story, but he's going to do something major here. Other than that, someone want to chime in?
Oh, no. Nope.
Okay. Sure. Other than that, Super Crazy No Way School, I guess is interesting, but I think it's too early to call and see whether or not this was a good idea, because now me just making a joke that Rox's emu has now like messed me up. So this could be interesting.
Do you just mess yourself up?
It was just like when Sam was just like, "Hey, Rockstar." I was like, "Yo, but I'm taking this seriously now." What if Rockstar is related to Rocks in some way?
But what if Rockstar?
But what if Rockstar? Seriously, like think of like just how weird Rockstar's introduction was. Like, "Hey, I'm a pretty big deal. I'm Rockstar," and Whitebeard's like, "I don't give a shit, kid."
Like I kind of hope that it has something to do with Rockstar, because that way, then Oda would have planted a seed back then.
I want Rockstar to be the chosen one. Rockstar actually becomes king of the pirates, and Luffy's like, "Huh? Oh, all right. Tried my best, everybody." That'd be hysterical.
What an ending.
To us, and then everyone else would like probably send death threats to Oda. I'm like half joking there. This was cool. I think we enjoy our Navy, sitting like pretzels, watching a slideshow. I don't know. I feel like I can't really say anything else that'll really, that stands out. It was cool. It was interesting information. More so about the emperors, which we only know so much about. So we know a little bit more. Pongo's great. Sengoku got a lot of talk here. It's a shame we lost Ed Blaylock, because I just read this entire chapter in his voice.
He's so good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But that is such like dub stunt casting, if there was ever any in the One Piece dub. But I have a feeling like the Navy's gonna like start sticking their nose into Wano. If anything, with this cliffhanger ending here, they're like, okay, we can't. Like, this is the Navy saying like, hey, we can't stop ignoring the Japanese elephant in the room here. There's something about this Wano place. So
maybe an actual giant elephant. Ed, thoughts on the chapter?
I don't really have that much more to add, except to listen to the way that the Marines talk to each other. I think that's very interesting. That Sengoku has this. I don't know. He's almost a little condescending. He's like, I guess he resents that the government has covered up all this stuff, and that he has to teach it, because I can't be the only one walking around with this information, I guess. So he has to teach people.
It's like The Giver, except
But yeah, I mean, I guess I shouldn't be surprised that like a chapter with, it's like the oops all power levels chapter. I guess I shouldn't be surprised that this ended up trending, but like I feel like this is all sort of stuff that I assumed, like, and also since this is stuff that doesn't involve the Straw Hats, it's like this is like the extra. This is the seasoning. This is the sort of the flavor of the world. But I guess one more concerned about what the Straw Hat Pirates are going to do. It was interesting to see Blackbeard's bounty, and that he is now on Full Lead. Yeah, that's his island now, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
It seems, yeah.
So that's interesting. That's I like that. They're going somewhere with that, but I don't know. I'm pretty good. I'm good. It's an all right chapter, but like, give me more of the Straw Hats. Like, I'm ready to go back to Wano.
I want to get to the fireworks factory.
I know, right?
So there's a lot I have to say about this chapter. I mean, I'll start first that I think I mentioned right away after I read this on our Twitter chat with the crew. This chapter was YouTube bait. In that it's exactly what both viewers and YouTubers really, really love. And that is, oh my God, we got a bunch of reveals. Now we know who's the strongest, and now I figured it. And they were all together on the same crew, and they're gonna just beat each other up. It's gonna be great, and there's gonna be like 5.5 billion. Can you believe that? Am I doing a good YouTuber impression?
I don't know, not to knock any YouTubers down, but thank God we had Steven on here to explain the significance behind these bounties. Otherwise, they would have been like, all right, Shanks has a 4,048,900,000 berry bounty. Okay, moving on. It's like,
well, that's the whole thing. We're in a very different industry than YouTubers, even though we do publish this on YouTube also. But like, people have asked us, do live reactions. I think this is a great example of why we here cannot do live reactions, because we read through this and say, okay, that's cool. Okay. 2.247. Okay. We knew that. 4 billion berries. Also cool. I like knowing that information. 5.5648. Okay.
No, Zach. People just want to see you make like Lonely Island, I jizzed in my pants faces when you do that. Like that's the whole YouTube industry.
Red hot screaming faces, pretty much, is what people look for.
I actually got a question on Twitter from someone who wanted to know if we, when there's a big chapter like this, would we ever consider? We've gotten this question before. Would we ever consider doing like a live read through? Like nobody has read the chapter, and then we record ourselves doing the manga recap as we're reading it for the first time. And I think we've like refreshed what we said before, that like we're not really cut out for that sort of thing. Zach, wouldn't you say like we're not really like reaction based?
It'd be less interesting than we normally.
Yeah.
I'll put it this way:
Can I say this?
We have
wouldn't it be annoying if we're all sitting in a room being quiet and someone's like, "Oh man, did you see?" And I'm like, "Shut up! I'm not there yet, you idiot." I think the closest we came to was when we were in Japan, all hanging out in a hotel room, and the chapter came out, and then we'd be like, "All right, we all done here?" It's like, can we talk about this now?
Yeah, and then when we talk about it, we have all the ridiculous emotions and the literally 20 episode titles I've written down. But
new record.
That being said,
hey, I don't know if you have any more to add about the chapter, Zach, but do you? I do,
but I mean, if you want to speak, you can speak.
No. Go for it first, because I have addendums. But
okay, we'll do addendums after in our addendum segment. No, so I did want to mention a few things beyond my general enjoyment of the chapter, which I'll also talk about. The God Valley stuff was specifically, I think, the highlight of this chapter for me. The silhouette and the God Valley print in the back, I know we made fun of that, but that's a super cool touch from Oda. It kind of something we've never seen. So I think that's cool. The silhouette of God Valley is also really interesting. And I'm not quite sure what's going on there. There are a few things I want to mention that we did not mention yet. First off... Alex, please.
I was going to say, Buckin, right? She must have been on that ship. She must have been on the Rock's pirate crew.
Anyway,
I think
she does not merit a mention.
No.
No, but Maddie,
I can't imagine that awkward 20-year reunion. I was there too. Remember me, Mrs. Bucking?
Well, that's assuming that's assuming Weevil is actually Whitebeard's son.
Well, I thought about this, and this is like tinfoil. Not even a tinfoil hat theory. This is just like this. Hey, what if it is actually Whitebeard's son, but it's not Buckin's son? Like, what if it's Big Mom and Whitebeard's son?
Okay, that would be
everyone has a son with Big Mom. We're all Big Mom's children.
She's the only one allowed to have kids.
This is Bucking. That's right, Janet. We don't have a son.
When you eat kids, you have to put more into the world.
That's true.
Was she
It's like when
the
you cut down a
Yoko?
tree, you have to plant one.
Was she like the Yoko of the Rocks crew?
Oh my
She had a kid with
God.
everybody, and it broke up because of all the tension.
Maybe.
I just want to know which member of the Rocks Pirates went on to host Shining Time Station.
That's cheeky.
Oh, please, God, with the dub voice too. It's got a
Yeah.
Caribbean accent and all.
Yeah. No, but yeah, that was so yeah, the Weevil thing, like, I don't know. I think there's gonna be a bucking connection there, and I don't know. Weevil seems way more important than I think he's.
Look, Alex, I'm just gonna say I
And he's
wouldn't
looking
have
right
let you in. I wouldn't have let you interrupt me if I knew you were going to talk about Buckin and Weevil. That's all I'm saying. So,
well, I also did want.
this better not be about Weevil.
It's not. God. So anyway, Weevil.
Freaking Ed making an amazing joke, but not on Audible.
Yeah.
Say it, Ed. Say it.
Yeah,
Miss
say
Fucking,
the
more
joke.
like Miss Fucking.
Whoa.
Or maybe
Wow.
not if Alex's theory
Okay,
is.
well, I don't know.
Okay. So no. The other thing I wanted to bring up was I've been skimming the chapter again as we've been.
This is
talking.
going to be the
and
longest episode of this podcast. Go ahead.
You
We've been
you
already
always say
talking-
that.
But we've been talking
Never
for an
even
hour and a
close.
half already. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
not even close.
Yeah, Zach, you could lose all the audio.
Oh God! Don't even joke about that. I don't know, the emu being rocks. I keep thinking about this celestial dragon thing, right? And like, there's so many missing pieces of this story relating to the celestial dragons and rocks. And I had like a theory, like a tinfoil hat, like thought that maybe the the five elders were members of the Rocks Pirates.
You mean five elders?
I said five elders. I said four at first, and then I corrected myself.
Oh, okay. I missed that. Yeah.
But then I don't know, because Sakazuki knows who they are, and he probably would have noted that too. So I don't know. Never mind.
I like the idea they were immortal still, or something like that. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, let me,
Okay,
let
anyway,
me
sorry
on your
about that.
point.
I didn't mean
No,
to
don't worry
interrupt
about it, Alex. I'm going to take your
It's my
point. I'm going
thoughts.
to roll with it. It's not going to be
There's a
about
lot of this-
Weevil, though.
Yeah. I'm just saying there's still a lot of this chapter that I haven't really processed yet. Like, I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, so this is what I was. I think I talked about this with you, Alex, before we recorded today.
Right.
In the One Piece connection, we go through I go through the layers of the story. How you have you have short-term stories like Act 1 of Wano, let's say. Then you have arcs like the Wano arc. Then you have sagas like this whole Emperor saga, if you want to call it that. Then you have longer-term stories. I think this would kind of qualify, like everything that was happening with Roger and Kaido and Big Mom. And then you have the big overarching story, which I think is where the Five Elders come into play, where Emu comes into play, the Void Century, the Raftel, Laugh-Tail, all of that. And I think this deals with that, that inner, what is it, the mantle of One Piece, if you want to go by Earth geological, since we're talking about rocks. Rocks.
Nice.
So yeah, we're in kind of the mantle of this still, or whatever, inner core. I don't know what you want to, or outer core. This isn't important. What is important?
Yes, it is, because the world is being, the rocks are being moved all over.
Well, that's why Whitebeard was in rocks. He moves the rocks. So the King of the World, is that the same thing as what Emu has? I'm assuming that. So is it like the King of the World, meaning I don't know what the exact terminology is here, Stephen, but is it the King of the World like the ruler of everything, or is it the King of the World like the King of the World government? Like where we saw Emu sitting on the throne, that parse that out.
I mean, it was a pretty straightforward, direct translation. So I don't know, like it wasn't like the the duly elected sovereign of the world
Yeah,
or something like that. It was like instead of Kaizoku, it was like Sekai no O, which would mean like the king of the world. So
Well, what is
I don't know.
Is the world government, is that an English word in the original, if you know what I
No,
mean?
it's Japanese.
Sakai.
Yeah,
So it
Sekai
uses the same
Seifu.
word. Okay. Yeah, so that's interesting then. I mean, I guess then it's just vague as to whether it would be referring to he wants to take over the power of the world
I mean,
as it exists, or rock the world, huh?
Like
so to speak.
with the way that
Oof.
that the information is presented, I think it's pretty easy to draw some direct inferences that the relationship between Rox and Roger is basically the relationship between Blackbeard and Luffy. That
Yeah.
Roger, we know Roger is the guy who figured it all out. Like he became the king of the pirates. He figured out whatever the history was, and then he was dying. He got executed, and he was like, all right, I'm gonna pass it forward to the next generation. And we know him now as he's initially presented as this kind of like menacing, sort of scary guy, but we know him now as being very similar to Luffy in certain regards. And Rox very much sounds like, when they talk about he's breaking the world's taboos, like it sounds like, okay, he was trying to gain forbidden knowledge. He was going after the same thing that Roger was, but for evil ends. And so that's where I think that, like his role in the story is going to come about, is in explaining, what are these taboos? Like what is that story that we still had not seen yet?
Yeah, I think that's the crux of it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know how Luffy wants to be free? That's the reason that he wants to be a pirate king. Like maybe Blackbeard's aim is that he wants nobody else to be free but him. I guess I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Some sort of analog of Luffy's like goal, like that.
Yeah, and I'm wondering what Roger's goal was, and then in contrast, what Rox's goal would be. And also, following that same line, it seems like Roger has the carrying on of the will is such an important part of One Piece. I mean, it's something that's been mentioned. So we know that the will literally being carried in the hat with Roger to Shanks to Luffy. I'm curious if something similar exists from Rox to perhaps to Teach.
It's the island.
The island full of lead. Yeah, that's true. Here's my island. I mean, it seems like even if Rox and Blackbeard don't have a direct connection, it seems like Blackbeard's modeling himself on Rox. The fact that he's just at that island seems to hold some significance, I would assume. Other things I want to mention at this chapter. Captain John, we have heard the name. We know is the treasure of Captain John with Buggy.
We've seen his dead body.
We've seen his dead body. So we know he's up
Reanimated.
there. We know he was in the Rocks Pirates, and he was a pretty infamous guy. The Silver Axe, we don't know. Gold Lion is Shiki. Wang Ji, we haven't heard that name, right?
Well, it's inspired by a real pirate, but no, not in One Piece. We haven't heard the name.
Do you know anything about the real pirate, Ed?
Steven said someone said he was involved in bringing the first Portuguese guns to Japan.
Okay, I must have missed that. That's interesting.
I mean, it's a Wano connection. Like, yeah.
I'm curious about every single one of those. I'm curious about so much. I think Steve mentioned this chapter. I think, and Steven mentioned that this chapter teases more, I think, than last week's even. These are some big elements, big characters that I am super curious about. We all mentioned how Garp is a badass. I'm super happy we kind of see a little more of that Garp Roger thing. This just really reminded me of Punk Hazard, in that you had Smoker, the analog to Garp, and Luffy, the analog to Roger, kind of fighting side by side there. And I expect that to happen again. Also love when flashbacks happen in Sengoku's afro. We don't mention that enough here. That's always great.
Hey, I mean, they had the projector right there.
Yeah.
They just projected it straight. Projected the battle of God Valley straight onto his afro. It's silver now, so it reflects really nicely. What was I gonna say? There was definitely something else important I was going to say.
We didn't really touch on this, but they did mention multiple times the SSG.
That's what.
Yes, I wanted to bring that
That is
up.
actually what I wanted to say. Yeah.
The
Is
Navy,
this by Tatsunoko?
I was gonna say this. I mean, this obviously sounds like probably whatever Vegapunk is working on. I am gonna be really pissed if SS doesn't stand for Super Science. It's gotta be. It's gotta be.
Yeah.
And the G stands for gun, so it's just the Super Science gun.
It's just a giant gun. It's a ray gun. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's just it's a Death Star.
Vegapunk wears a speed suit.
So I don't know about. So the first thing this is my tinfoil hat time, aluminum foil hat, whatever you want to call it. So we all assume, I assume that Vegapunk is involved in that in some regard.
Yeah.
Probably. They said the science team, right? They said
Yeah.
specifically, what was it? What was the second mention of SSG said? Yeah, special science team. I assume it's special science or super science, something like that.
Yeah, the AV Club.
The AV
The nerds.
Oh, maybe it is the actual AV Club. I knew it this whole time. I was gonna say though that maybe the stuff with Kuma and the PX, what were they all called again? The cyborg,
The Pacifistas?
the pacifistas. I'm in my brain today. Usopp is a member of the Red Hair Pirates. Don't let anyone else say otherwise. I have a feeling that I don't know if the pacifistas are going to be necessarily directly related, but maybe they were a prototype for the next thing that Vegapunk is making. So maybe something in that family. So, but what I mean is giant clones of something or robots of some sort, which Oda mentioned. I was looking through. Remember, I did those tweets a few weeks back about like this is 1 year ago on this week, 10 years ago on this week.
A week ago, right?
Yeah, whenever it was. I was looking through Oda's comments, and he said something along the lines of, my ideal manga would be to draw something with ninjas and samurai and robots. And we're only missing one of those right now. So, I'm super curious to, like, Oda clearly loves the sci-fi stuff too.
Zach, in the author comments this week, Oda talks about how much he loves The Bachelor. So,
yeah, he likes the Grape Girl.
Oda has changed a little since he was 17. So,
married life.
There's that.
We'll do that. The SSG. I was thinking about this in the car today. Like the thing that would make me make my heart drop to my stomach is if it was, since he's been experimenting with devil fruit stuff, if SSG was something that nullified devil fruit powers permanently, so that they would still be,
isn't that just what happened in? Isn't that just My Hero
Academia?
Yeah,
I was thinking of that too, and I'm like, I kind of hope that isn't the case because, it's the same thing that happened there. But I mean, like something like that where it nullifies devil fruit powers, like to the extent that Sea Prism Stone does, but worse. Or
maybe nullifies hockey.
Actually, that's what I was thinking. Something cool, like they have a thing for devil fruits, but what about hockey? Maybe there's something that can nullify hockey,
like an EMP or something.
Yeah,
I was thinking about that's not bad. Or maybe
because like hockey's already the thing that gets rid of devil fruits potentially, or like not nullifies
certain types of it. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So the problem, like hockey is the Deus Ex Machina that kind of exists in the One Piece world. So undoing that would be a fun twist, if you ask me personally.
But we're probably not going to find out what that is until after Wano.
Yeah. The one thing that this chapter did get me really excited about is that and we've known this already, this isn't new news, but we are definitely entering the end times for One Piece. We're definitely starting to lead up to that ending, and putting that ceiling of a bounty there for Roger. Not necessarily a ceiling, but like this is the highest one we know of to date, and probably the highest one we're going to see for quite some time. That definitely is starting to set the stage a little more. And as Ralph really astutely pointed out, Wano is super freaking important now because the person currently living with the highest bounty, as far as we know, is Kaido, and Luffy has to beat him now. And he's also teamed up with Big Mom, and if I know my math, which I kind of do, 4.388 plus 4.611 is bigger than 5.5648. So, I don't know. There you go. Any other addendums?
I don't know. I did want to say I agree with you about the SSG like potentially being something beyond the pacifistas, just because I feel like it's not in Oda's nature to be like, all right, let me show you here's these robot guys, and now here we are years later, and he's ready to unveil them to the world, and it's like, ta-da! It's the pacifistas. It's the old thing that you already know about. It's gonna, whatever it's gonna be. It's got to be something new and surprising or cool. So
okay.
I agree with you there.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure we'll discuss this more. Let's go into the next segment.
All right.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
This is the anime recap for episode 904, Luffy Rages, Rescue Otama from Danger. I'm your host Sam, and today with me we have Ed.
Hello.
Yes, we were gonna have Jill, but I guess she decided she was too drunk to podcast. Those are her words.
Hey, well, she knows when the time is right. She'll be back.
The title card this week begins at 4 minutes and 41 seconds, and it opens with the town freaking out as Luffy has just defeated Urashima, and Luffy, Zoro, and Okiku are all kind of teaming up and facing the crowd. Hawkins is on his way, and he seems very worried about the situation. We get into a fight. Luffy is still punching with his sword. I think that the Luffy part of the fight here looks really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Awesome. And we have Okiku asking what she should be doing, and Zoro kind of scolds her a bit, like, "Hey, don't play dumb. I know you. We just saw what you did with your sword and Urashima's hair. We know you can handle yourself."
I'd like to see Luffy chop a sword clean in half with his sword. It's the only time he uses it.
Right.
Yeah. So they completely wreck these fools.
Yeah.
It's a fun exhibition, at least, for their skills.
Yeah, we have a brief cutaway with the Okabore town where Otsuru is hanging out. We've got like a little scene where a child is crying because he's hungry, and his mom is like, "Hey, no, a man of Wano shouldn't cry," even though the kid's like clearly like 3 years old.
It's kind of oddly placed, but I do like it thematically, and I like this episode a lot more than I think I did the last couple episodes.
Yeah, I was trying to remember is this the scene in the manga where I don't think it is. No, I think that's coming up. Never mind. So we have a scene where, hold on here. Yeah, we've got a scene where we're kind of seeing the farm, the farm where they kind of produce all the clean food and water and fish and fruit.
Yeah, it's a good showcase for like how bad society of Wano is.
Yeah, and it's very like aesthetically pleasing. The music is like really kind of soft and beautiful. But we see the people who work there are kind of being treated poorly. And we've got like a man who's being given. Sorry, can you hear my thunder?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, there's thunder outside. Just
so he gets like five silver
mood.
Pieces, and this one he can feed my family for like a day or a week or whatever he says.
Can't even afford water, and then the guards just start kicking him because they're bad guys, and they're very pleased with themselves for kicking him.
Yeah, they're very very cartoon villains, but that's that's the situation we're in here.
We've got Luffy still asking the people of Bakura Town who the boss is, and the guy's like, hold him. And Luffy then spends the whole rest of the episode calling him Baldeboo.
Yep.
I don't remember what Steven went for on that one. But I guess like Luffy hears hold him as Baldeboo, or that's like the best he can remember it as.
Well, the guy is like, he's beating the crap out of this guy. Just
Yeah.
okay, I heard that one.
Yeah. So we get to see Hold'em's house after Urashima has just crashed into it, and Tama is very small compared to Urashima.
It's impressive that Hold'em can grab, like he can still
Yeah.
move down there.
And Hold'em is like lifting Urashima over his head because he's been crushed by this giant sumo wrestler, and Hold'em is holding him up like he's Hercules or something, and like tosses Urashima off of him. And you got Luffy calling out for the aforementioned Baldeboo. And that brings us to the eye catch of the episode. And we come back and we are introduced to Speed, a headliner of the Beast Pirates with a horse smile fruit. And they kind of tease this out where we're getting different shots of Speed, but we don't see her whole design right away.
Well, it was hinted at like back when she was first mentioned like 2-3 episodes ago.
Yeah, when Okiku was
Yeah.
listing off the headliners, and we saw a horse that was mysteriously cut off at the neck.
Yeah. She's got is like her like zippered speed suit costume.
Yeah, zipper. Yeah, like whenever the women have zippers, that always like worries me. Like I always imagine them pinching their boobs or something.
That'd be painful. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the reason. It's one of the several reasons why I hate Robin's Fishman Island outfit so much.
Oh yeah.
But we have
the firefighters.
Yeah. Well, first we have the gag where Speed claims she can see the like food barge behind her because she has 350-degree vision like a horse. So yeah, then as you said, we get to the firefighter scene. I like the fire bell. Like it reminds me of like Princess Mononoke during the middle of the movie when they're like sounding the alarms because the wolves are here.
Yeah. Well, and also they don't fight the fire. They're not doing anything.
They're just like doing gymnastics and stuff.
Yeah.
This is this
I mean, I've
is like a
seen
really great
depictions of,
bit
like-
for something I barely remember from the manga.
I've seen like depictions of like Edo era firefighters because like everything's built out of wood in Tokyo. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, they had the pride of the firefighting brigade.
So Speed is realizing that it's Hold'em's house that's on fire, and she seems kind of worried about that. And back at the kind of the sumo stadium, Hold'em appears on top of a house. He's confronting Luffy, who's been calling out his name poorly this whole time. And he's got Otama hanging out in the lion's mouth. And he's saying, "How could you destroy my house with a sumo wrestler?" Which I think is a funny statement because it implies that like the sumo wrestler is part of the insult.
And they dropped the music during this too. So there's sort of a silent there's no music behind their confrontation. It sort of highlights it.
Mhm. And I thought this part was interesting where Hold'em asks them if they are working under Shuten Maru the Thief. And we get kind of little silhouettes of this Shuten Maru fellow, which is different from the manga. I double-checked with this. I think Hold'em just mentions what was it? Whatever the name of the thief group is.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Yeah, the Atamayama Thieves.
Atamayama Thieves Brigade.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
But here he just mentions Shuten Maru by name, and Okiku has a moment where she's like, "Oh, Shuten Maru, I know who that is." So that's a flourish that the anime has included. And so then the next joke is Luffy and Hold'em are kind of having a stare down, and it takes Luffy like a million years to like realize, wait a second, that man has a lion in his stomach.
It's a good gag.
Yeah, like at first I was getting a little tired of it because it's just an anime stare down where it's just cutting back and forth, and you got the lion like kind of growling, and it's like, why are we teasing this out so much? but the punchline is very good. And then the final sequence of the episode is Beppo and Law are on the roof. Beppo is still sick from the fish or the water or whatever he was eating.
He's whimpering cutely.
And Law is near the scene. He's about to jump into action, and at the same time, Hawkins is arriving into town. So it's kind of this big gathering of all these really important figures, these people who are important to Bakura Town, but also the pirates that we're familiar with, like Luffy and Law and Hawkins. So that's exciting. And then the final shot of the episode is Luffy having a little devilish smile. He's ready to take on the fight.
Yeah.
General thoughts, Ed?
If he'd have told me that, like, they weren't going to fight Hold'em in this episode,
Yeah.
I would have been annoyed. But this was definitely better than the last 2 episodes, I think.
Yeah.
Well, No Urashima is a big positive, and all the scenes were technically very well done. And I like the sort of the flavor of Wano still, with the, we're seeing with the farm and learning about the thieves and all the people who are getting poisoned. It just sort of lends an atmosphere. But it's still very slow, though. Very slow.
Yeah, I did not mind the slowness too much. It's less of a problem when we have enough stuff to cut back and forth between.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got, we've got to see the farm. We've got to see Hold'em. We've got this big, exciting gathering showing up. A little tease of Shutemaru. There was enough to chew on here. As opposed to like the Urashima fight where it's just Luffy and Urashima doing the same things at each other for 20 minutes.
Yeah. Have you seen the episode of East Blue dub?
Not the dub, no.
Okay. Yeah, 'cause that disc just came out, and I think you'd like that one. There, it's dub is very good, and the documentary on the disc is also very good.
Oh. Is it?
It's a dub documentary,
right?
With all the dub actors and Godswill's in it, and
I've definitely seen episode of East Blue. I just don't know.
Oh, again, Fukunaga talks about 4 kids.
Oh yeah,
he actually says 4 kids. It's nobody else wants to say what the name of the other company was, but he's the only person who does.
Huh? That's interesting.
It's an interesting documentary. I would, if you're a One Piece fan, check it out at some point.
Yeah, I thought the episode did all right. I think there's not a ton more to say. Is there any stray thoughts you wanted to include before we move on?
Not particularly. Excited for the Romance Dawn TV special?
I don't like how it looks.
It's very shiny.
It's too shiny.
Well, that's what they put in the ad. We'll see what it looks like. But I'm curious to see what it looks like.
I think between Dressrosa and Whole Cake, there was like a bunch of like recap episodes where they reanimated the shows with like varying quality. It kind of makes me feel that way. Like it just doesn't look quite right in like the kind of very slick, modernish, plasticky look.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
We'll see. I mean, it's not like the original Romance Dawn shorts were beautiful in the manga.
Well, there was also the one from like 2004, or not 2004, like 2007, which came out around the time like the Son Goku and his friends anime came out. There was a Romance Dawn special back then.
Was there?
Yeah, it was before we started the show.
What was it? What was that one about?
It was an adaptation of one of the Romance Dawn pilots. I think it was the other one. The one without like Garp in it. Yeah. Yeah,
because the first one was the one where Luffy got his hat from Shanks, and then the second one he got his from his grandpa Garp.
Yeah. So, or maybe it was like,
that's
inspired
the new one
by
they're adapting.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. It came out before we started the show, though. I know that.
All right.
Okay.
I think we're ready to move on to the next segment then.
I'm ready.
All right, let's move on.
Cool.
Hey, old lettuce lips. Hey, Captain Burger Time. You know what it's time for? Piece Together. Let's get started on Ed.
Dispiece.
Steven, what do we have on Discord this week?
All right. Our first Discord comes from Stella, who says, "Hey, OPP, guess what? I know what you're thinking, and you're right. It's time for Dispiece. Also, Ed, I assumed you didn't like trivia because you don't do trivia segments when Zach is gone. During the read through, you were 100% pro gag. So I guess they were commenting on it.
No, that's yeah. Zach puts a lot of work into that.
Yeah, and unfortunately,
I mean,
it's
a lot of work to do that trivia segment.
And unfortunately, I did put a lot of work into this week's, and we got to do it also because of the Viz Media contest. So I apologize.
Actually, I may need to take off to record the anime recap.
That's fine. That's fine.
Oh, good. That means someone else can win trivia.
That's not true.
I believe I'm still the overall champion. Dune Alien says this chapter's actual complete name, Ultimate Fan Service, or alternative names. Stop asking already, and please forget about the other 2 incidents of last week that I won't reveal. Yep, seems
That's
about right.
name. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Abdul says, "Hey OPP, I don't have any questions because it looks like Oda has been giving us a lot of answers these past few chapters. I'm excited for discussion on this massive chapter. One thing I'm not looking forward to is the general OP fandom justifying their obsession with power levels related to bounties because of this chapter. Since scans and leaks are still on topic this week, I've been coming across a particular argument both on this Discord and a few times in the intervention thread that is unfortunately relevant every week. The argument from these scans supporters is that they spend money on the series, whether it's from buying volumes, merch, etc. So reading it early is justified. I wanted your thoughts on this and how it negatively impacts trying to convince that side of the manga from reading and strongly supporting scans. Thanks and keep up the great work."
Yeah,
I think, didn't I talk about this last week? Like, it's if you steal something and then you buy something, you still stole the first thing. Like, it doesn't negate it.
Yeah, I think I mentioned that to somebody on Twitter. Like, that's like me going out to buy a car and getting free gas because I spent money on a car.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good
Yeah.
Obviously, not
everything
part of a promotion.
Yeah, everything that you said last week, Maddie, was like right on, and I'm like, everybody should hear this.
Well, and I think a lot of it gets into, obviously there's a lot of good logistical points, like a better quality and better translation and all that stuff. But yeah, like at the bottom of it, it's about respecting the author.
Yeah, I wanted to find like a source for the fairy tale thing because I do remember hearing that where the fairy tale author was asked a question about the chapter that hadn't come out yet, and he was like, what?
And as Maddie mentioned, Tide Kubo used to be on Twitter, and then people kept talking to him about a chapter that had not come out yet, and he left Twitter. And I know we have made fun of Bleach in the past, but that's still not a cool thing to do by any means. And we also got a question I know on Reddit, since it's exactly the same question, saying like, look, I buy the One Piece volumes and merch. I'm subscribed to Viz, but I also read the scans because One Piece is an addiction, and I want to read. This is what he says. This is, by the way, Brixkoha. I want to read it when it's available. Keep in mind, I also read the official one when it comes out because I know it is superior when it comes to the translation. And then One Piece Podcast every week says, "You are scum of this world. You're not real fans of the series, though I do enjoy listening to you guys on the podcast." It's a lot of terms in that.
I feel like that isn't a word that I used, but like, I'm
Ed would use the word scum if he meant it.
Yeah,
scum.
I mean, just don't talk about it in public. That's what I care about. That's the part that almost gets me spoiled every week. So that's the part that I really like. If you're reading it, I mean, I understand if you do, but don't talk about it until the release date, maybe.
Look, there's a lot of levels to this, and I know we all have slightly different opinions about like kind of the logistical ends of it. I think we all generally agree with the fact that you should be supporting the official release. Yeah. I said this before. I think we as a podcast definitely have a duty to spread the word as much as possible that there is a free, legal, official, worldwide available release, because a lot of people just don't know about it. I know that a lot of the messages we get on Twitter, like I got spoiled this week that Shanks's bounty was going to be revealed. Okay. That's not something I particularly am super like, oh no, I was spoiled on that. I still don't like having my experience ruined, but you know, I understand that that is also kind of something that comes with the territory of doing the One Piece podcast. It's been happening to us since day one. But you know, that's I think that person sent that not because they were like, hey, you support the official release, well I don't, here's mine. And I'm sure those people do exist out there, but I think this person
hope
was
not.
like, this is, I hope not, but I'm sure they do. I think this person was just like, I am so psyched, this is awesome, Shank's Bounty is out, you gotta see this, did you see this One Piece podcast? And just doesn't realize that we're constantly tweeting to not do that to us. And so yeah, Steven.
I mean, I was going to say, I think that the particular frustration probably in this case, it's not necessarily like explicitly about do you support the official, or are you showing support by buying stuff that you think is cool, related to the series, whether it is volumes or DVDs or merchandise or whatever. But in this particular arena, it's kind of about like removing the ability of the official release to to deliver that kind of social experience. Like it's basically it's like the equivalent of taking like if someone was taking like some new episodes of Game of Thrones or whatever and just like releasing them on the internet 3 days before HBO airs them. And you've kind of
that happened a couple of times actually.
Yeah, that's true. It's removing the the people who make it, their ability to to have that like special thing where they're showing it to everybody and everybody sees it and gets to appreciate it at the same time, and to have that reflected in the the ways that, whether it's like through I don't know how like Shueisha or Viz like sort of justify the engagement metrics, if they're like ads or just like trying to get numbers on how many people are we getting to read these things. But it's kind of removing their ability to get what they are hoping to see out of that. And that's the part that kind of sucks, for at least for me personally speaking, is like having us all behind the scenes sort of working on this thing, like, all right, we're gonna get this thing ready, it's gonna be all lettered and translated and everything's cool, it's gonna go up right when everybody in Japan sees it, and then to have that kind of taken away regularly, to have other people basically deprive the people who actually are behind the scenes working on this series, to deprive them of that, kind of special experience, does kind of suck. And that's basically why I don't really like, I just kind of stopped going on like Reddit or Arlong Park or anything, because I don't know, it's just kind of a bummer. But it's not like that's a different argument than like, well, you're like not paying for whatever, because obviously they've been kind of pressured into giving away this sort of free version of the product. So it's a little different now than it used to be.
Yeah, and for you had already read the chapter even when the earliest spoilers come out. It's not
right.
like it's spoiling you.
No, it's not. Yeah, it's not about my knowledge of the chapter or whatever.
Yeah, and I mean, I think you're absolutely right. We're in a completely different position than we were even a year ago, where now it's available worldwide for free the same time it comes out. And so we have, it's especially like kind of salt in the wound when you see it trending, or you see, okay, One Piece really has the potential to like really make an impact, which has kind of been the point of this podcast since we started. And that's why we keep talking about this. And that's why I keep mentioning this, is like, you hit the nail on the head. It's depriving the people who pay and the people who are good enough to wait like what's basically 48 hours for the official release, and it's ruining the experience either by spoiling or depriving everyone of a really good discussion and the potential to actually have a trending today. As we record this, instead of 2 days ago or 3 days ago, before this was out, even in Japan. I don't know. It's really disheartening, and kind of the worst thing about it is that the magazine is going to come out earlier in certain places because that's just how the magazine industry is. And so even for those that aren't stealing it and putting it online, they might buy it, put it online, so others could steal it. It's a really just like I feel like most of the time I'm throwing my hands up in the air and saying like, please someone stop doing this, and no one is.
I was gonna say about the trending. I mean, wouldn't it be really neat if it was trending around the whole world? Because when it's been trending on Twitter, it's only trending in
it
English
trended worldwide too.
Did it? Well, but I mean English-speaking countries. Obviously,
and
it's
what's really crazy?
Japanese Twitter isn't really part of that, right? Because they wait.
Yeah. And they probably also write it out in Japanese and not.
Well, it's just OP in the number. I think that usually trends. I don't know.
I mean,
but it's just I don't know. It's just like it kind of breaks up the unification.
The crazy thing about it is I know like the manias over in Japan have to like block certain words because they don't want to get spoiled in Japan.
Yeah, no, I know a lot of like English accounts are blocked by Japanese Twitter because of spoilers, which is sad and really unfortunate because you want it's Japanese, like the ones that when I was in Japan and the fans that I met, there's kind of this blockade between the Japanese and Twitter and like American One Piece or like worldwide One Piece fans, and you notice it especially if you're kind of an artist. And it's like once you start getting like Japanese followers, you kind of are like, hey, I broke like down the barrier. But there's like this division between the two. And they get really excited when they find out how popular it is in America and when they find English speaking One Piece fans. But I think having that threat of spoilers causes that division, which is just unfortunate. We kind of just want all of One Piece fans to be able to enjoy it together.
Yeah, and sorry we keep harping on this, and it's gonna keep happening, unfortunately, as much as there are good chapters. But I feel like we have a responsibility to inform people that there is an official release, because I think most of the people, I think there's definitely a large percentage of the people who are like our listeners that wrote in, and it's like I subscribe, but I also read the scans. Okay. But then there are also just people, I think, out there that don't know that there is an official release for whatever reason.
And I know.
Anyway.
And I don't think that people know that a lot of people don't know that Manga Plus is free.
Free and worldwide. Yeah. I have informed a lot of people, and that really makes me super happy when I see people are like, oh, shit, I did not realize that. I apologize. Yeah, I'll go out there, or not even I apologize, but I'll read it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's free, and you don't necessarily need a Shonen Jump sub to read One Piece every week either.
Right.
But unless you want to read it all. Go ahead.
All of it, yeah. Actually, there are two disc piece left. I'm going to skip ahead to the second one since it's kind of about this. Dune Alien says, given all the scan talk, I thought I will just leave a feel-good story. I know sometimes it feels like an uphill battle all the way back when you guys made the transition to Alpha. I lived on a region where you couldn't subscribe to the service. And just to clarify for people that don't know that was the very first year of the weekly digital Shonen Jump magazine from Viz, where everything was 2 weeks behind. So
2012, right?
Yeah, that sounds about right. And so we literally were behind, like we were a full 2 and plus, a couple days behind where the rest of the internet was. And I think, Zach, you could probably tell us that there was, we paid a numerical price for that probably because everyone was like, well, this is like 3 weeks old. Why would I listen to this?
Yeah.
But Dune Alien continues. In 2013, when I moved to the States to finally finish college, I made the move to the app and never looked back. It was all thanks to you guys introducing me to Viz. Now, that being said, for crying out loud, Viz, get your act together and license Kingdom. I haven't read it since I decided I wouldn't read any scans, and it's killing me. Ha, 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 ha.
Yeah, I want to read that one, too. Would that be?
Yeah.
Is that a Shonen Jump manga? That
It's
is right.
a Young Jump manga,
Okay.
I believe.
I was just trying to think if it was in Viz's court, even.
I can, well, I, not to reveal any, confidential information, but I can say that is it's an extremely difficult title. Like I'm pretty sure they're probably continually arguing over the benefits and downsides of it because it's a very long running series. It is also very popular, and it's the sort of thing where like everyone is following it, and it would be really hard to sell from volume 1. But it's also like you have to have the whole series out for it to make any sense to license it. So it's a real tricky one. Hopefully they'll
How long has that one been
figure it out. I don't know. I mean, it's probably up in the 40s at least, if I had to guess. I don't know. I've never read it myself, so it's one for my list. Lastly, from Morgul, we have a comment as follows. Hey, OPP crew, despite the series blowing up on Twitter the last several weeks, I personally felt that this was the first chapter that actually lived up to the hype. Luckily, since I don't use Twitter or most social media sites, I was able to avoid spoilers. However, I still get rather pissed off that people are still using scans and ruining for the rest of us. And going off of what the above post said, I do not think buying volumes is justifiable for reading scans, as to me, it's the same as stealing a loaf of bread from a grocery store and saying, it's okay, I'll come back in a month and buy an expensive steak. As for the chapter itself, holy crap, was I not expecting such a massive info dump. Not only did we get some more info on the mysterious and newly respelled Rocks Pirates, but Oda went really in-depth and pretty much gave us every last little detail about them. By the way, I was super happy to see Shiki get name-dropped again. And then, if that wasn't enough, Oda brings out the bounties and gives us a little more backstory on several of these enigmatic emperors. As soon as I saw the tidbit about how many years ago Shanks became an emperor, I immediately started doing the math in my head to when he first gave his hat to Luffy. Overall, this was an amazing chapter, and as much as I want to get back to Wano, I kind of don't want to go back just yet if Oda's going to keep giving us amazing shit like this. P.S. I spotted Panda Man this week. Actually, yeah, I didn't think about that, but the timing of that he said 6 years, right? So
Yeah.
I guess that like contradicts what they had put in the Viva cards, right? Because
Yeah, I'm actually kind of happy that they had said that he was an emperor when he gave Luffy the hat. I'm like, that seems like a lot.
a little weird. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess that's not the case. How many years ago did he meet Luffy? 10, right? Or 12?
Yeah, that Luffy was 7 or 6 or something like that.
Yeah.
I think. I don't
Something
remember.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was just an issue of like, on the Viva cards, they have a list. And since most like things that happen in the story are not like over a successive period of years, like, okay, this was 5 years ago and this was 3 years ago and this was 2 years ago. It's all just like question mark number of years ago, but it's like the ordering of the events. And I think maybe they got a little ahead of themselves by putting like Shanks becomes one of the 4 emperors in front of, Shanks gives the hat to Luffy sort of thing. So, yeah, that'll be interesting. I'm curious to see if that will actually mean something in story terms or whether that's just sort of like Oda trying to kind of retroactively make things fit a little better. But that was cool.
Is that it for Discord?
That's it for Discord.
So I'm gonna do you whatever the opposite of a solid is, and we could go straight to Reddit.
Oh, thanks. All right. Let's see. Let me try to pick out some of these. We did address a lot of these questions in the manga recap. Typeset says here's my theory, some of the Shichibukai will get caught because later in the story they will be mad and in the same place ready to fight. This way, Oda doesn't have to explain why Hancock is already in the New World. I do see Buggy winning his standoff with the Marines, though, and failing his way to the final battle somehow. So, yeah, it does seem like if he was going to have all of the former warlords like take part in a sort of Marineford-esque battle, that there would need to be some kind of story reason for them to all be in the same place. So. that could work to that. Maybe the SSG will have something to do with it. Let's see. We talked about that. Oh, here's a good one. Yeah, Natachi. I actually meant to bring this up, but I forgot. But Natachi does mention it. So this might go through a few tangents, but bear with me since this theory is blowing my mind. The Rock's captain is named Zebek, and so is Blackbeard's ship. This is true. The Blackbeard's ship is called the Saber of Zebek. And
shit.
I only learned that last night because I think some people, Maddie, would be very happy to hear that I am finally putting all of my Viva cards away in their binder. I'm unpacking them all and getting the glue off.
I don't know if I'm happy because I'm out of a job. I was going to do it for you for pay.
Yeah, so I just so happened to be pulling apart the pack that has all of the at least the OG Blackbeard pirates in it, and it all says the name of their ship is the Saber of Zebek. So at first I was like, well, I mean, it's just the name of a random ship. Like it could have just been Oda doing some kind of Englishy, like, all right, pirate sabers, like a cutlass and a Zebek. Because he's name dropped other types of ships before, but I don't know. I mean, the more I think about it, the more I'm like that there could be something there. Like if at the very least, it's like the sort of spiritual through line of like Rocks as like the evil guy who's after the secrets, and Blackbeard being the evil guy who's after all the secrets. So
yeah,
very interesting.
Yeah, it just bolsters what we discussed earlier too. Yeah, that's cool.
And he also this question is, which of these potential wars might be the climax of the series? A, the Straw Hats fleet plus the former warlords plus the world government versus Blackbeard, or the Straw Hat fleet versus the world government as Paramount War 2.0 to save Sabo.
I veto the second one if I can.
Yeah,
you don't need to go through that.
I don't need another whatever. What's a male version
Rescue
of a
arc?
damsel in distress?
It's just a rescue arc, man. Like
A dame in
damsel.
distress. No,
A dame is
That
still a
doesn't
lady.
yeah, dame is still a lady.
A Damien in distress.
A Damien in distress.
I'll write that down.
Yeah.
Even though I
John-
can't choose it.
John Garcha also helpfully adds, Zebek ate the boat Zoan.
Oh man.
He just
And now he's a
turns
boat
into a
man.
boat, and then he
Yeah.
sinks because it's a devil fruit.
I mean, we've already defined the burger Zoan, so
That's true.
Just one more step to the boat Zoan.
That's great.
Let's see.
Wait, is it the Hamburglar Zoan or is it a Burger Zoan? You know what? I'm not.
Well,
gonna
no,
think
because
about
the
this.
Hamburglar doesn't have a burger power. Like he's not.
Oh no, yeah, you're right. Here, no, Mayor McCheese. I'm thinking of.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
so
what I'm
sorry.
saying.
I'm so
it's
sorry.
a cow. It's the cow fruit model hamburger. Like, it's
Wait,
Just a model of
that
the
means
counter.
that means you could do zones of the food that the animal becomes.
that's right.
Oh,
So
Or
that
better
means
yet, the
What would be the
legendary
hot dog
human fruit
the hot dog
model.
would- the shoe.
model long
Shoe
cake.
man.
Action hot dog go.
That means a pig could be bacon, ham, pork. What is this magical animal?
Wait, Ralph, which one were you saying? The human?
Oh, I was gonna say
model?
he probably ate the human fruit, the legendary one, model Mayor McCheese.
Ah, yes.
Or
I thought you were gonna
human
say
fruit,
like the
soy
model
cream
long.
model.
Yeah, long pig. That's the.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh no.
All right. Lord Nemo 593 has an interesting question. So, which of the third commanders of each Emperor's crew do you like the most and the least? So basically,
Ooh.
characters I'm talking about are Jozu, Yasop, Cracker, Jack, and Van Augur.
Cracker Jack.
Cracker Jack.
Yeah, Cracker Jack. That's pretty good.
Got a prize.
Okay.
Who do we like the most or the least?
Both.
Both. Yeah.
So most and least.
For what?
For for out of Jozu, Yasop, Cracker, Jack, and Van Ogre.
I don't care if he ever comes back.
Yasop, probably.
Van Ogre sucks. He isn't good.
Yeah.
He seems
shoots
really
birds.
snooty. Like he seems like a super snooty guy.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
counterpoint,
And shooty.
Jack also sucks.
Yeah.
Jack,
Yeah, Jack
sucks.
sucks, too.
Jack
But the Van Ogre
definitely
has
is
a
the
stupid
worst.
hat.
But hold on. Jack turns into a giant furry pachyderm.
That is
Joe's-
true.
Yeah, but
Jozu turns into diamonds and gets his arm cut off. I mean, come on.
but
Yeah.
but the pachyderm has a bowl cut.
I was gonna say
Okay,
it's
so-
a bad haircut.
Wait, so here's the thing though. It's not a bowl cut. It's just his hair pulled back. It looked like a bowl cut at first, but upon further inspection, this is something I discovered like a couple weeks ago. I was looking through the Fever cards and I'm like, oh my god, it's not a dumb bowl cut. It's just Oda's weird way of drawing hair pulled back.
Oh, so it's like his bangs.
It's not even his bangs. It's sort of like he has his hair pulled like. He has his hair pulled back, but like not like really tightly.
It's
So-
yeah, it's
so
just
it's almost
pulled
like-
into a ponytail, so it's
So he
just
just
like
had-
Yeah,
So he has
The
a
hair
really
going back.
low. He has a really low hairline.
yeah.
Okay.
All right,
I also
my-
want to mention here that Yasop is
he
a
still does look
terrible
stupid.
father, and
That's
that
true.
should be taken into consideration.
Yeah, but
Father,
Usopp
yeah.
likes his dad.
Wait,
well,
I
let's
just realized
How do you
something.
know? We never met him.
Yeah.
It's true. I just
Well,
realized
he's
something.
proud of him.
All the third in commands suck. They're all terrible.
Wow.
Come on, man. You weren't a fan of the
But
biscuit
Josu's
biscuit
not
fruit?
bad. Josu seems like a pretty nice guy.
Josu's all right.
Oh, he's-
Yeah,
If he
yeah,
is still
Josu's
alive.
fine.
I think he
Okay,
wins by
so
default.
Josu is the winner for me then.
I just feel bad for Yasop having to get surrounded by these giant dudes, and he's just a regular guy because, of course, Cracker's going to be in the armor.
That's
Oh,
true
yeah.
too.
Yeah, it's true.
A
That
friend of
armor
mine,
kinda sucks,
a friend of
though.
mine said this funny thing about height. You could tell you're watching One Piece filler when everyone's just regular human sized.
Oh my god.
Because now
yeah,
One
that's
Piece
true.
is like everyone's like as tall as a fucking building these days.
That's
All right,
like the
what's
secret.
next?
The Oda stamp is that he designs them to be 10 feet tall. All right, let me see here. I'm gonna skip over some of these longer ones. All right, we sort of talked about some of this. Simon346 says, I really appreciate your great work, and the podcast is a highlight of my week. I have a question in regard to Vegapunk's invention that abolished the warlord system. I know you already talked about what the invention could be, but my theory is that he invented robots in the image of all the warlords, just like he did with Kuma, but with the current warlord's abilities. That means that Vegapunk has somehow perfected the artificial devil fruits, and he made copies of the warlord's devil fruits and is now using them against the original warlords. Because of this, I think the only one who will be able to escape or just destroy all who entered his kingdom is Mihawk, because you can't replicate his skill. What do you guys think? Semla for all.
Is that why Moria was taken out? Is it like he was the first one? It's like, got it, figured out how shadows work. You
He
can kill him
did-
now.
This question did remind me on a complete tangent, and I apologize, that on
Oh, cool.
page
We-
9.
We could use another tangent on tonight's
Yeah, that's
episode.
true. On page 9, one of the silhouettes looks just like Mihawk on Sengoku's afro thing.
I
That
think.
would-
I think. Yeah.
Go ahead, Alex.
I was going to say I don't think he's old enough.
I was going to say this raises the question of
Oh no, that's Whitebeard. That is Whitebeard. I just
is
realized.
Boa-
That was the mustache, not a hat. Go ahead. Sorry.
Is Boa vain enough that she would get horny for her own image? Like if they sent robot Boa Hancock, would she be able to use the Meadow powers to against herself?
Or maybe if they use it just like Medusa style and just use a mirror.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that'd be a pretty easy way to knock out that robot.
Yeah, but I do. Yeah, the own powers against them thing. That's kind of interesting, and it also made me like. I still kind of wonder, like, why why the higher ups wanted to off Moria at the Paramount War, and that could be part of it, like for research or something. Because like Kuma basically gave up his body to become Vegapunk's guinea pig, right?
Yeah.
And he was a warlord. Like I don't know. Like I completely forgot that Moria like was almost off by Joe Flamingo, but then he just fucking, I guess Absalom saved him.
I mean, the only other theory I have is like Lucille is a celestial dragon, and she just says, "I don't care much for Moria."
She would be a celestial dragon.
We'll just kill him. We don't need him. All right, let's see. I like this one. Grand Reboot says, I know y'all don't like reading from Reddit, so I'll keep this theory super, super short. And I'm going to preface this by saying, remember, they came together at the pirate island of Full of Lead. He says, Rock's got his crew members in a Davy back fight. Kabam.
That'd be funny.
That'd be pretty good.
Yeah, his crew does seem like a huge like fantasy draft. Kind of.
Yeah. And they all hate each other because they never wanted to be together in the first place.
I would love that. Davy Back is kind of like the gag arc, but to have it like play a really essential role, I think would be pretty fantastic.
And just give, I don't know, anything to redeem Foxy a little bit, so he can be like, you see?
I was onto something.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Sphere Zazu says, hi there, OPP. With all these bounties being released, I was curious, what would all of your bounties be? You could base the bounties on pure One Piece knowledge. Love the podcast. I will point out that I think just like today, after he read the chapter, Matt Cohen, a friend of the show, said that his bounty was 420 berries, which completely checks out. So
that one's correct. We could confirm Matt Cohen's bounty. I was going to say they all have to be puns.
Oh, well, I got my official bounty at like a treasure hunt game.
Oh, yeah, didn't we all get one? Oh, I have the thing right here.
Our collective, what's our collective bounty?
Was it like from the One Piece equivalent of like a shrine, like Fortune?
I have it right here.
I didn't know it
Dead
was,
or Alive. Dead or Alive, OPP, 53,210,000. That's official.
Oh, yeah, that was from the Robin game at
I'll post this.
Tokyo Tower. I got my own at Tokyo Dome when they were doing like a One Piece treasure hunt. And mine is 60 million, which is the same as Zoro's starting bounty. So that's pretty good.
Well, that's not bad.
I feel like as the translator that like I wouldn't have a bounty. I would be like the Clover of the One Piece world. They would have just eliminated me already for knowing too much.
Yeah, and as you tell us the answer, you continue to not to, even though you're fine, you continue
and
to
I
not
don't know,
say
just
it.
based off an experience I had the other night, talking to a former coworker and them saying like I was such like a aficionado, like such one of the most knowledgeable people about One Piece ever. I just thought, well, it's a good thing he doesn't know Greg. But also I'm like, I guess that's kind of like a God Usopp thing where I have like a high bounty and I don't deserve it.
I don't know. I have trouble like figuring out like, I don't know.
What's your power level?
Yeah, I wouldn't know my fucking power level is. I'm too humble. I'm too humble to give myself a large bounty. One of you have to give it to me.
What's next?
I don't know. Let's see. Let me pick out one more. Okay, here's a question that I guess we could answer. Enemy Lover 1491 says that, do you think with the reveal of the Emperor's bounties we have been waiting for, that it solidifies the idea of One Piece actually entering its last saga or end in 5 years, since there is no more endgame bounties of enemies per se, other than a few of the enemy crewmates? Also, it specifically says highest bounties in pirate history, which makes me believe that Dragon, who is not a pirate, probably has at least 6 billion for being the most wanted. What do you think?
Yeah, I almost forgot about Dragon, because that, I guess, he has to have a higher one, I guess.
I mean, I think he might, I don't know. The next chapter might continue this meeting.
I mean, but
they were saying that like, what are the new warlords bounties now that they're not warlords anymore? Like, and they're like, before that, here's the 4 emperors. So they kind of buried that lead a little bit. So I do wonder if the next chapter is going to touch on those and you know, and maybe Sabo's bounty as well. I don't know.
Well, it depends. Maybe we'll get an answer about what has happened to Sabo.
Probably not. But that'd be, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I can certainly see why we would sort of overlook Dragon, because it feels like the past like 70 volumes, Dragon's only role. He's like the Weekend at Bernie's. He just kind of sits there, goes like, and like scowls and like doesn't really do anything. And all of the other revolutionaries are the ones who kind of like talk for him. So it's easy to forget that he's supposed to be like a super dangerous guy according to the government.
Actually, I think it would be interesting if his bounty also just said dead, because we've seen a poster that says alive, but we haven't seen one that just says dead.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Was
They
like
don't even
Mace
want to
Windu
know.
writing these wanted posters.
Anything else on Reddit, Steven?
No, let's move on.
Yeah, Ed, time 2.
Emails.
No. I told you we're gonna... I hate it.
Very anticlimactic.
Oh my
No, I told you we're skipping emails this time. What do we...
Okay. Yeah. So that means it's time to piece the tweet. Yeah.
Whoa, what the
Whoa.
hell was
Whoa.
that?
It's like Ed was doing an impression of Ed.
I want
Uh,
to piece the tweet.
There was, there was feedback.
Too much talking. There's been too much talking today.
Yes,
Uh,
I have a head.
Boy.
Yeah.
I love it.
We're,
Okay.
we're gonna lose a lot of people after we finish piece the tweet here. Go ahead, Ed. You could do however many you want or however few you want.
Okay. Matt Martin tweeted at us he tweeted the picture of Panda Man. He's anyway. So check that out. Anyway.
Go ahead.
All right. Next one comes from Wes the Fetting, who says, "This chapter nearly confirms my theory that Pouty."
Howdy.
Oh God.
Oh, we're off the rails here. Go ahead.
Shit. Sorry.
No, just keep going. We're doing this. We're rolling.
We're live.
Do it
now.
live.
All right. Shit.
Did you
All right.
smoke a lot of something before? Go ahead.
No. Pouty is making me laugh.
Okay.
Just give me a second. Okay. Here we go.
Yeah. You're on, Ed.
Fine. All right, so Wes the Fitting says, "This chapter nearly confirms my theory that bounty equals power level. Fans overlap heavily with fans that read spoilers and scans. This chapter was super hyped on Reddit and Twitter, but was bogged down with, in my opinion, needless bounty information." So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I agree.
all right, our very good friend Brian Newton says, "This ceiling has been revealed. We got a lot of history in a short amount of time. It's safe to assume that Blackbeard is carrying on the will of Zebek, but one crazed theory I'm not serious about: Captain Kidd is related to Captain Rocks. I think Brian's overlooking Rockstar here."
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Come
Stop
on,
looking at
Brian.
Stop looking at the pirates that look like rock stars and look at Rockstar.
All the spiky hair boys.
Mm-hmm. Death Clock boys.
Yeah, and Call Me Saeed says, "This is for Steven. In the Japanese version, when Brand New talks about the SSG, the Japanese words for special, science, and group are put before the acronym, so that's what it stands for. I just think it's weird why you translate it as Special Science Team. It's the same.
Because I don't know. I mean, that could be. I suspect special science is probably true, but Han is usually team and or like a task force or something like that. And I did not want to jump the gun as far as like presenting that this is exactly what that stands for. I just kind of translated what the term was, and then SSG is for sure. That is the official title of what this thing is. So I'm going to wait and find out what that is all about. But that's basically my thought process.
Okay. Bob Priestley says, "Once the Straw Hats story ends, what would you want to happen with One Piece in the future? A Straw Hats The College Years style sequel? I would like many short stories, 1 or 2 volumes set within the world following other crews, although Oda does deserve a long rest."
Yes.
For me, it
Yeah, you
for me, it
already had an
depends
answer
on-
for this.
Like, yeah. Well, I mean, aside from the Garp spinoff, which I really want, This
which
all
we have a
completely
name
depends.
for that you have
Yeah,
not mentioned.
Oh yeah, Garpfield. That's right. Garpfield and friends.
Garfield and Friends, perfect.
Yeah. I think it completely depends on how One Piece ends. Like, will pirates still exist after One Piece ends? Who knows?
Okay.
I don't know.
That's why prequels might work better. Go ahead.
Does anyone else have anything different that they want?
I mentioned it. Oh, Big News Morgans, the spinoff, obviously. Jesus.
Getting to see him in his human form, which would be interesting.
Oh yeah. I don't know if you guys mentioned this at all. I forgot to mention a little piece, but yeah, in the Viva cards it mentions that Morgan is a human who ate the albatross fruit.
Wait,
I'm an albatross.
Does it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
Wait, so does that mean that he flaps his albatross wings?
Yes.
Clone High, everyone should watch it.
It's a good show.
So he's a big fat phony? He's not really a big bird?
Yep.
Wow.
What a lion!
I don't know.
Crap.
I don't know if I believe
Well, we knew
this.
he was a lion. So crap.
The wonder has been shattered.
Yeah. I don't know. That was like too much information there.
Jeez,
Like, I like the world of mystery that I lived in before. Now I feel like I know too much. Is this what it's going to be like when One Piece is over and we hear the answer?
I thought he was just a bird mink, a bink,
A bird person.
a bird person.
The
Yeah.
beacon was activated.
All right.
It's been a while since we did a reference to that. Yeah, go ahead, Ed.
Apologies to all the people whose questions I'm not asking, but it's been a long show. So, Chris Valent asks, this is the last one. Rocks Island is also the island where the Davy Back fight originated on. Can you imagine Big Mom, Kaido, and Whitebeard doing wacky racing and dodgeball, etc.?
I hope so.
That would be awesome. Like, if we could get a flashback of a Davy Back fight involving all those characters.
I just want to
Yes.
I want to leave this piece together segment with an important message. The thing is about this chapter, that it drives home like that the fact that I called it YouTube bait. I think a lot of One Piece fans think that One Piece is just a badass cool show sometimes, or cool manga. It is weird, it is wacky, it is off the walls. Everything that you think looks cool actually has something super like oddball about it. So I could guarantee you that there was a skateboard competition with all of the Rocks pirates or something weird like that. I'll leave it
He
there.
likes to skateboard.
Or surfing. Something like I'm sure there was something ridiculous.
Well, it's like the X Games, but since they can't call it that because it's copyright, they just call it the Diaz Games.
Okay. Let's round off.
Set me free, Zach. Set me free.
This has been the One Piece Podcast, episode 588. You may have noticed Godswill was not able to make it, unfortunately. He was literally on the train when he called us, so he wasn't able to come on for the episode this week. But we will have him on again, and Oda has guaranteed the episode he is on for will have a better chapter than this one. So prepare yourself. Wow. Yeah, look, I'm not going to question Oda. So, yeah, before we round off here, I just want to remind people, please keep tuning in, because at the end, right before we get to the trivia, which we are going to do, I'm going to announce a little bit more about our next big contest with Viz Media. But before we do that, subscribe to us on Patreon at patreon.com/One Piece Podcast. And Steve Yurko, where could people find you?
Please follow me on Twitter and Instagram. People are following me on Twitter for some reason, so that's cool. Thanks for doing that. You can also listen to me on other podcasts like The Deep End and Toon Suite. You know how it is. Thanks, yo.
Yeah. Ralph, where could people find you?
You could find me on Twitter. More recently, I've been trying to get a little bit more active with Twitter, but it's at @grim_peace.
Nice. Thank you. And Maddie, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at twitter.com/oh-that's-raspberry. And you can also find my Patreon, which I just recently relaunched at patreon.com/Maddie's Art Club, where every month I send out an exclusive postcard and sticker sheet.
And a One Piece bookmark I saw. Is that...
Yeah.
That's not, yeah.
Yeah, this October there is also a bonus One Piece bookmark, which is also what I'll be handing out at the screenings of Stampede we're going to. So, 2 ways to get a bookmark.
I got to subscribe and get that bookmark. And where else are we? Alex, where can people find you?
Well, I'm on Twitter as per usual, at dude ! All one word. Weeb Simpsons is my other Twitter account. Check that out for its amazing backlog and occasional updates. Go to etsy.com/superartfight. You can buy Cute Animals on Fire, the card game that I helped to work on with Super Art Fight. It's a drawing game, and you don't necessarily need to know how to draw to play it. So play it. It's fun. And if you want, you can also buy a 2 Drink Alex t-shirt. Some proceeds go to me. I don't know how much, but it's also cool just to have a t-shirt that has my a drawing of me on it.
Yeah.
Where
Alex around.
I am, yes. And listen to Toho Yaro, the Japanese Film Club podcast that I do with Joey and Scott. We're catching up as much as we can. We're like we're like a solid month behind. But we just released our 39th episode, Tora-san Sunrise and Sunset. And next month we'll be doing Yatterman.
Nice.
Hopefully next month also means like a couple weeks from now. We're trying to catch up to October because we want to do our Gokei Body Snatcher movie episode.
Reasonable.
So
Yeah. Steven.
Yes, you may follow me on Twitter at Translatosaurus, and you can read my work on One Piece and Samurai 8 every week in shonenjump.viz.com and mangaplus.shueisha.co.jp. Thank you.
I need to catch up on Samurai 8, but my friend from work is digging it, so that's good.
Cool.
Yeah. So, Ed, where could the good people out there contact you, me, and us?
Well, you are Zach_Logan on Twitter. I am at Edward E. One Piece. I'm also at Weeb Trailers. You can check out some Adult Swim Cowboy Bebop trailers I posted last week. The podcast can be found at onepiecepodcast.com, twitter.com, youtube.com, and facebook.com/onepiecepodcast. onepiecepodcast@gmail.com is our email address. One Piece Podcast is our Skype name. Let's see, you can subscribe on SoundCloud, subscribe on Spotify, subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts, or call us on our phone number. Zach?
Ed, that phone number is 347-497
Maji.
That phone number again is 347-497-6254. Call anytime.
Anytime.
With your questions, your comments, your theories, or the reasons why you can't stop the rocks. Ralph, you also said you're going to be seeing Stampede, and you want people to see it with you?
Yeah. I'm actually going to be seeing it. I'm in Florida, so I'll be seeing it at the City Place AMC the 24th at 7. So if any other people listening, come meet me out there.
Meet Ralph out there. Okay, so
right.
Before we round off, Ed, we'll talk to you later.
All right, so I'm going to go record an anime recap.
Wow, that's just, you're reversing time here. Thank you, Ed. So for those who remain, we are going to be doing a little bit of trivia. And actually, even before we get to the trivia, I want to mention next week there is a new chapter, and I'm very happy to say we'll have the girls from the My Hero Academia podcast on. So they'll both be on the next episode. Then we have Shannon Strucci the week after. We have Alan Ortega on the week after that, and Mr. 4,200,000 himself, Matt Cohen, is on the 27th, October 27th. I could say words. Okay. So we are doing a contest. We're going to be giving away Color Walk Compendium 2, which is, I believe is that Water 7 through Marineford? Stephen? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
I do have it in front of me.
Yeah,
that's Warhammer
yes.
7.3.
Through
the
Paramount War, technically. Yeah.
Paramount
right
That's the
the
title.
The color walks tend to correspond to about 10 volumes each. So this is 4 through 6. So it's all the 40s through about 60, about right where Marineford is. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
This
the
sent me
cover
a-
features the gorilla.
Yes. And the shark is a plot poster on the inside as well.
Oh, nice.
For the shark color rock eagle, not sure where that is on there. But I should mention that Viz kindly sent me a copy to review. So look on their Twitter feed for that to drop at some point, probably soon. It's a really awesome book. I think everybody's really gonna like it. If you like the first Color Rock Compendium, you're really gonna love this one because it's packed with even more stuff, not just artwork. But
So before we do trivia, I want to let you guys know out there how you could win that and potentially other One Piece podcast and One Piece related prizes. So I had everyone on the podcast, including Greg, pick a number from 1 to 957. If you're a listener, you might kind of understand where this is going. Alex,
Sure.
how does this trivia, how does this contest work?
So the idea is this: we all picked numbers between 1 and 957, which are all chapter numbers, and you, the listener, will be the ones who will be constructing the questions. You, out of all of these numbers, you may choose one of them, and then choose a question, or come up with a question.
Yeah.
Tweet it at us. We'll and stump us. We will not cheat because we'll be doing these on the air, I guess, right? I don't know. Yeah. So
I think
you'll have
the
your
idea
pick.
is that we want to give these books away.
Yes.
So
we
we
do.
don't want to keep them for ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why
so,
did we-
So
Why did we pick chapters?
So the reason is we didn't. If people just pick anything, that's a much wider range. So this gives us a limited amount of chapter numbers that people could pick questions from. It also
that's
gives
right.
people, it also gives people a great reason to go back into the Shonen Jump archive and see what they could do. And now that things are super easily accessible there too, all you really have to do is find 500 or whatever it is, and you could just read that chapter and pick something cool out of that.
And normally when we do trivia, we're the ones who pick the chapter. We just pick like a random number, but this time you pick the number.
Yeah,
And
so I'm
then-
gonna I'll read the numbers, but they will also be both on our Twitter page and on our website. And if you want to see what each person chose, which are basically random numbers, hopefully
Or
the
no, wait, we
corresponding
didn't.
people.
No, you don't pick the number. We already picked the number, and then
We
you
already
guys
picked
pick.
the numbers.
Okay.
Yeah. What I
Basically,
meant is the
it's
people here.
trivia. It's trivia.
It's
You guys
trivia.
know.
Just give us a trivia question about one of these chapters. I'll read them in order. 228, 207, 228, 399, 405, 435. I'm gonna be posting these. Don't worry. 560, 699, 777, 818, 838, and 888, and of course 957. Thank you, Sam. And if you liked me reading numbers there, wait until this trivia segment because we're gonna, of course, do a bounty trivia. This is how it's gonna work. Yeah. I mean, what did you expect? So who's still here? Who did not run away from me? So I think we got
time to escape.
Do you? No, you don't. Now it's too late. So we
So
got.
it's yeah.
So we got
Four
It's
of
me,
Steven,
Steven, Ralph, and Maddie.
Alex, Ralph, and Maddie. So this is what I'm gonna do. I have groups. Some of them are big, some of them are small. Obviously, the way this is gonna work, you have to get it within 10 million. I'm being super nice here. So, for example, if it's Chopper, if you say 1, you'd be correct. If you say 10 million, you'd also be correct.
It's like I feel like you're being very generous, but then I realized I have like no idea how many zeros follow any of the bounties.
Exactly. And to make this a little more interesting, just cause, I don't want you guys just like guessing random numbers, that's not really that much fun. I'm going to give you each a group. Now, part of the strategy here is some groups have like 15 revealed bounties. Some groups have like 2. Your goal is to just get the most points, meaning the most correct. You don't lose anything for getting anything wrong. But if you pick a group that does not have a lot of people, you're not going to get a lot of points. Now, to be nice, I will give, based on the amount of time people have been on this podcast, so Ralph will get to go first, which sounds bad, but it means you get to choose the group first. So I'm going to read all the groups you could choose from, okay? And you pick whatever. The Straw Hat Pirates, the Straw Hat Grand Fleet, Former Warlords, Baroque Works, the Doflamingo Pirates, the Red Hair Pirates, the Big Mom Pirates, the Beast Pirates, the Animal Kingdom Pirates, it's One Piece Wiki, the Whitebeard Pirates, the Blackbeard Pirates, the Fire Tank Pirates, which I was amazed to have had more than one, the Black Cat Pirates, and then a bunch of random pirates. No,
Wow.
I'll do these. I'll do these individually. The
I'll
Don
take
Creek
random
Pirates
for 500.
No. The Don Creek Pirates. What the hell were the Moriyama 7?
Do we only pick one?
And
We
the
only
fake
pick
Straw
one
Hats.
category.
You only pick one
Okay.
category. And the fake Straw Hats is the last one. So Ralph, if you remembered any of those, pick one.
Okay. You said the Krieg Pirates, right?
That's the one you want to pick?
I'll go with the Krieg Pirates.
That's an interesting choice. Okay, the Krieg Pirates has 2 members with pirate numbers. What is Don Krieg's bounty?
And it just has to be within 10 million, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So what about...
Oh, I'll say this. If you get it straight on the nose, you'll get double points. There you go.
Well, that's definitely not going to happen. I'll go with 44 million?
Nope. The answer to Don Krieg is 17 million. What about Geen? What about Geen?
Geen, if that's the case, then I'd probably say 7 million.
You were within the range. It is 12 million.
Okay. I could take that.
I mean, at that
You get
point, it's hard to
1
miss.
Yeah, Maddie.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do the Former Warlords.
Good choice. Okay, so I'll say the name, you say the number. Bartholomew Kuma. And obviously these are the last known. These are obviously the last known bounties, guys.
You sounded so confident at first.
And then she's like, "Oh God, I have to say the number."
200 million.
No, I'm sorry, 296.
I was
Weevil.
actually not. Can we change it
you
to
weren't
like
that bad.
100 million within
No,
the
we can't.
range?
We can't. Weevil.
Oh man.
I'll give you a hint. This was the most shocking to me.
800. Wait.
Might wanna
Wait.
think
80.
about this.
Wait. 8.
Hmm?
500 million.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
It's 480 million.
Dang.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know.
That's
Boa, good guess
Damn
though.
close.
Boa Hancock.
F-
If you get her sisters, also, I'll give you extra points for each sister.
Huh? Oh.
Her sisters have. I'll say they're the same. So if you get that one too, I'll give you extra points.
300.
No, I mean they're the same. The sisters are the same, and Boa Hancock's is a different.
360 million.
No, Boa Hancock's last bounty was 80 million. Her
Oh.
sisters are each. Do you want to guess?
No, I don't care.
They're each 40 million. Buggy. What is Buggy's last known bounty?
Oh, 750 million.
I wish. Does anyone here want to guess that? I'm not going to give
Wait,
points.
is it still like 9 million?
It's 15 million. Yeah.
Okay, I know it was like.
Oh,
Nice.
it's
Jeez.
sweet. Okay, yeah.
What is Alvida's last known bounty, by the way? I'll give you a point if you know this.
I don't know.
5.
5?
Um,
berries?
5 is the last
5
one.
berries.
No, 5 million.
Oh.
It's better than Chopper.
Oh, okay, that
Um,
makes more sense.
Do you know Mr. Threes? Do you want to give that one a shot too?
Oh.
12 million.
24.
before-
You were so
Dang
close.
it!
Uh,
This game is so dumb.
Now,
I'm
guys,
just
it's
saying
supposed
numbers.
to drive home how stupid bounties are. Moria.
Oh
We
god,
need
why
to-
there's so many? 380 million.
320 million.
Dang it! At least
Law.
I'm like in the range,
You're
sort
not
of.
that bad. Law.
You should get credit for some of those.
Law.
But she isn't.
630 million.
No, it's 500 million.
Mm.
And Jimbei.
Wait, what about Crocodile?
Oh, yeah, I have him too. What's Crocodiles? Do you want to do that one
62
first?
million?
Nope.
Hmm.
81 million.
81
Oh, I was
million.
gonna say 80, and then I doubted myself.
You
Ugh.
shouldn't have
That
doubted
one's-
yourself, Maddie.
Maddie, that
Jimbei.
one's an interesting one to remember because Robin and Crocodile's bounties were only like 2 million off.
Interesting.
Yeah, hers was like
Um,
79 and his was 81.
And Jimbei.
Crocodile was the whole reason I picked this category, and I got it wrong, so that's really sad. Jimbei, 430 million.
You got it. 438.
Oh, really?
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Whoa.
Good job.
Nice.
That was totally.
Jimbei
I'd
for
use
the
that.
win.
Woo! I got a point. Can you please
Steven.
take that, Ralph? We're tied.
Steven,
You had
pick
way
a
more
category.
than me.
Can I pick random pirates?
No, I ended up separating those, so you can't.
Oh, okay.
So these are the ones: the Straw Hats, the Grand Fleet, Baroque Works, Doflamingo, Red Hair, Big Mom, Animal Kingdom, Blackbeard, Whitebeard, Fire Tank, Black Hat, Arlong, the monkey people, you know, the Crooked
Sorry, I'm
crew.
Alliance. Yeah.
Yeah, Soriyama, and the fake Straw Hats.
I'm gonna go with fake straw hats just because I want to find out the answers.
It's fun. Okay. I don't even know who one of these people are. Fake Luffy, Domino Black.
Tomorrow.
What's his name? Tomorrow Black.
Tomorrow Black, yeah. Which means what was it, like fakey McPerpster or whatever I said. Okay. His is, I'm gonna guess his is like 31 million.
You got 26.
Oh, nice.
Ooh, wow.
That was good. Yeah, good.
It's not
job
expecting. Yeah. Okay.
there. Albion. I that's the name I have written down.
Albion.
I don't know
Trying-
who that is.
Oh,
You could, like,
that's the guy
click
with the
on-
big head.
No, isn't that
Okay.
the next one? Well, we'll get to
Oh.
that. Albion.
So which? Not that this is gonna help me, but which
one?
which fake straw hat is it?
All right, fine. I'll look it up. Give me a second to find who the hell
No,
Albion. Oh, here we go.
Albion isn't.
Gash
He isn't a fake straw
Albion.
hat. He's on. He's
He's on the
He
fake
looks
straw
like-
hats.
He looks like a
Oh.
green mummy.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. He was like similar to Caribou and Koribou.
who will
And-
also
Yeah.
be mentioned here.
Okay.
yes.
All right. Okay. I got you. Albion. Oh man.
He is big head.
I don't know. 75 million.
No, 92 million.
Oh,
He's one of the
He's
higher
on track.
ones here.
yeah.
Lip Service Doty.
Lip service Dowdy. Yeah.
Dowdy. Sorry, Terry.
50. No.
No, I know
One-
she's not listening.
112 million.
Nah, it's 88 million.
Damn it.
Caribou.
Caribou.
This is
God,
like a level playing field kind of game.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Caribou
This
is like,
is-
I don't know, like 95 million.
No, 210.
Ah, shit.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's
and
surprisingly high.
Korobu. Yeah.
So Korobu's got to be like 190.
Exactly correct.
Yes.
190 million. Steven
Damn.
comes from behind there. 3 points. Ralph is 1, Maddie is 1, Alex. How will you do
Okay.
this?
Do the
Straw
Straw
Hats. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why any of you didn't pick Straw Hats.
Yeah,
Because
I'm
we're
like
making-
shocked.
We're making it fun, Alex. It
Yeah.
isn't about
Yeah,
winning.
Alex.
That's the low hanging fruit.
Yeah, do you want to do
Fine,
a
then I
different
won't
one?
do Straw Hats. I'll do
Okay.
Fine, fuck that. I'm not gonna
The
Do
do
you want me to
Straw
go
guilty
Hats.
through
work.
the categories again?
No, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do Baroque work because this is gonna be so bad.
I like
they,
how
like,
you're all
they-
making this
I know that
interesting.
because the Viva cards, they all have bounties now.
Yep, all of them. They all freaking have bounties. Crocodile. You get a free
Crocodile's
one here.
81. I know that.
Hey.
So you get 2 points right there. Mr. One. Mr.
Boo,
One.
not cool.
Why is Crocodile allowed to be in 2 categories?
Crocodile could be in every category.
Well,
He's
technically,
Crocodile.
Maddie, you're the one who wanted him to be in the Warlord category to begin with.
Look, the categories are made up and the numbers don't matter.
Mr.
We already got
One.
our Tayaki anyway.
Yeah, that's true. Mr.
Yeah.
One.
Das Bones. Das Bones. Let's see,
Look
Mr.
at
One.
Crossbones.
Yeah, Mr. One. Mr. One had like I want to say 92 million?
No, 75.
Why would it be
75.
higher than Crocodile?
Because Crocodile's got frozen, when he
Yeah.
became a warlord.
So that's a good
Yeah,
theory.
but
let's
what
keep
is
going.
but is
Let's keep it going.
Mr. One still like a pirate though? Like, would his bounty keep?
Well, now they are, but we haven't had any
Right.
updates.
Well,
But I would
Baroque
think,
work
like, at the
wasn't like
same-
a.
They're not
Like-
pirates. Well, I guess they could be some. They're like,
we don't know
I
what
don't
the
know.
hell they're doing. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
up to some
criminals,
mischief.
I guess.
I was just
Yeah.
thinking, like, well, if Crocodile's bounty got frozen, then like maybe his underlings would too. But I don't know.
Ms.
Baroque Works
Doublefinger.
was operating in incognito though.
Right.
Like, they were. Yeah, they weren't like.
Alex.
yeah,
his
but
crew.
but they weren't like pirates. I don't know. Whatever. Never mind.
Yeah,
I'm not on mute, right? Alex, Ms. Doublefinger.
Miss Doublefinger. 69.
Nope. That's a good guess, but not at all close. 35. Mr. 2.
Mr. Two.
Mr. Bentham.
Yeah, shit. 65? Was it?
Nope. I want to say 69, but that's not the answer. 32.
32.
Ms. Golden
I'm beginning to see a trend. 25.
29. So there's a point. Mr. 4.
Okay, Mr. 4. Oh man, I remember Mr. 4 having a pretty high one.
Wait, I need to double check this
70?
because
No, not 70. That's dumb. 50.
wait, give me 1 second. I want to double check this.
No, I'm a fucking idiot. 44. It's got to be 44.
I wish. It is none of those. I know you were wrong. I'm just trying to see how wrong you were. It's 3.2 million.
Oh,
I don't know
baby
why.
bounty.
Baby bounty. Ms. Merry Christmas.
Dude, that's like a.
Is it a wait?
Batting record or something?
Yeah, I thought it was
must
gonna be like
joke.
a pie joke, but that doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense.
Oh, by the way, the names were all revealed for these characters.
Yeah. I know.
so
his name
Miss
was Babe,
Doublefinger-
like Babe Ruth.
Yeah, it is Babe. Ms. Doublefinger is Zala. We have Bentham as
Yeah.
Mr. 2. Marianne is Ms. Golden Week, which we did.
Yeah.
Babe is Mr. 4. Drophy or Ms. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, trophy.
What is her bounty? It's like Dofi,
Drophy
but
is-
it's slightly lamer.
I bet it's 18 mil.
18, you said?
Yeah.
It's 14. You officially win, but we could finish this out here. Mr. 5, whose real name is Gem.
Gem.
His real name is Lenny Kravitz. Mr. Five's bounty is probably like Mr. Five's bounty is probably like 12 mil.
10 million.
Okay.
And Ms. Valentine or Nikita. Oh, I get it. It's like the femme fatale. Isn't there like a
La Femme
like
Nikita.
Anyway. Yeah, femme
Nikita
Nikita.
Khrushchev.
Yeah, man.
Is hers 8 mil?
7.5. Very good.
Oh,
Uh,
7.5. Okay.
So Alex
I do
wins
wonder-
without cheating. 6-3 to 1-1. Good job, Alex.
Yeah.
You
Even
have
if
won
you took
without
off
it here.
Crocodile, I would still have won. So
That's what's
so-
important.
You may take solace in that, Maddie.
Great.
She sounds pretty happy about it.
Yeah, she sounds happy. So that's gonna do it for the One Piece podcast. Alex, what did you want to say?
No, I was going to say I wonder if Mr. Fours was like an ABR thing. Like, I don't know, maybe like his average batting record for the season or something, or it has anything to do with baseball. Steven would probably know since he's our resident baseball head.
ABR. I don't think there's any stat that's even similar to that, unfortunately. That would have been pretty
know
good,
what-
though.
What would be
Yeah.
great is if Buggy's bounty stays the same after he goes back.
I fucking hope so. That would be super funny.
He's just still 15 million. Great.
It probably won't be.
No,
Right.
it'll probably be a high number.
Or like, what if it goes down?
Wait, I'm only 5 million now? That would be amazing. Oh, my
Buggy.
god. Poor Buggy. Okay, that's going to do it. Next week, we'll be back with the My Hero Academia podcast hosts. And please, if you haven't, subscribe to us on patreon.com/One Piece Podcast. I will say, this week's images from Maddie and last week's are some of the best. And also the episode titles this week and all the extra discussion and all that. Definitely worth your subscription, I think. It's only $3 and up to see all of Maddie's amazing art. And $5 and up. We just put out a new Crewing Around, and we're going to be putting another one up pretty soon, hopefully. So you can check those out on Patreon. But until then, and by then I mean and everyone else left. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
立ち向か